We'll just make sure that both of them working. Test 1, 2, 3.
Testing. 1, 2.
Yeah, okay, they're working. I'm gonna open this one. All right, John, you can clap.
Oh wait, we're recording already?
Yeah. And over there is recording too, right?
Yeah, it's been recording.
All right, so. Hey guys, welcome to Beer Break. My name is Juan. I'm joined today by my friends. My name is Juan, better known as Albie, and I'm joined today by with my friends Juan, Carlos, and Jonathan John.
Hey,
And so, do you guys want to introduce yourselves for a little bit? John, are you a gamer, movie watcher?
well, yeah, I mean, this is my first time coming on the show. My name's John. For the most part, I do play video games for the most part. Getting into TV shows a lot. Heard a lot of good things and bad things about stuff, so I'm just playing the field in it all. Movies, I love watching movies, but I've been dropping the ball on that. Haven't been to the movies in a while, but for the most part, video games is my go-to.
Cool. And you, Carlos?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a casual gamer. Like to play pretty much everything. Love TV shows. All-time favorite as of now. Even though last episode was a let down, was Game of Thrones. But yeah, not much there. Ordinary guy with ordinary reviews. So yeah, that's me.
And you, Juan?
That's our special guest, Ginger, if y'all saw her. She's great. She'll be around. Yeah, as for me, I mean, I could be a critic and I could be a very casual person about it because there's times where I don't want to think and then there's times I want to think. I'm into very elaborate fancy shit, and I'm also very into shitty movies. So, I'm really into what we're doing here today. Video games, TVs, movies, that's what I do.
Yeah, and I've never watched any movies or played any games, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're not a poor beer, bro.
Yeah, no, I don't know that either. No, I don't know that either.
I saw your plan of attack and it didn't go too well.
It was downhill from there.
We're married this wrong camera now.
No, yeah, so we talk about movies, games, and TV shows, a whole bunch of stuff on this podcast. We all have tons of things to say. And recently we've been watching quite a few movies and shows and stuff. So I don't know if you guys want to chime in with what you've been watching recently.
Yeah, I was talking to, I think it was Juan the other day, that I finished Black Summer on Netflix. Definitely, in my opinion, a little bit more realistic than what you see on The Walking Dead. Definitely love the zombies. They're more of a 28 days later,
So
they're more aggressive,
right?
What's it called again?
Black Summer.
Black Summer.
Black Summer.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Juan about some spoilers on kind of how the ending was, but I'll go ahead and keep those out of here just in case there's anybody here at the table who wants to watch it. Yeah.
Now that you tell me about the zombies, yeah, I think I might want to watch it. I heard that supposedly, from some reviews I've heard that it's basically what Fear the Walking Dead should have been.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
I mean, y'all can pretty much talk about it. It don't matter to me. I'll probably forget about it within the next day and I'll watch it on my own.
I want to watch it.
You want to watch it?
You want to watch it? Okay. So there's two of us here that haven't seen it.
Yeah, because out of the whole series, my only complaint is like the ending.
Does it not end is there not going to be a second season or?
No, I think there'll definitely be a second season. Yeah, it's only one season, but 8 episodes.
I think it came out like a week ago or some shit like that.
Yeah,
it wasn't too long ago.
I think another disappointment is nobody can fucking shoot for shit in the show. And y'all will see that when y'all watch it.
Big fingers.
Dude, it's like every show and movie in the planet.
So yeah, that's me. That's what I've been watching. Just finished that probably about 2 days ago.
Cool.
Not bad.
And you, Juan?
I've been watching Sharp Objects with Amy Adams on HBO. It's honestly, I don't think it's for everyone, and I'm going to say that now because it's a very slow burn. I'm 2 episodes in, super captivated by what's going on, though. There's a lot of character development, a great ensemble cast, and a mystery to be found that I'm still yet to find out. So definitely recommend it, but just warning you now, it's definitely slow.
That's cool. So it's slow, like methodically slow, or?
Yeah, I mean, like you feel it, if you're not captivated by Amy Adams' performance and like the people around her, because really, like the way this show is like it's a total mystery because you find out why she goes there because she's basically there to figure out a murder or write about a murder because she's a journalist. And then, she shows up and you start getting flashbacks of her as a child, basically, and you start to find out who she is and what haunts her.
Like
and
bits and pieces.
Yeah. So it's interesting, like, how they portray it because it could get confusing if you don't follow it correctly. But again, it's super interesting. I mean, there's not a whole lot of action yet, but there's definitely they don't hold back on killing little girls. Like fucking, it's pretty fucking terrible. Like they've killed two on the show, and you see one specifically in one of the episodes, and you're just like, what the fuck? But it's pretty neat. I'm enjoying it so far.
Nice.
Sounds pretty awesome. I want to see that. I've been watching a whole bunch of movies. I've been watching a whole bunch of movies, old movies, since I have my screen now. And I watched Pirates of the Caribbean, like all the movies, and the Mummy trilogy. And
I did not see the last one.
You don't have to.
No,
Okay, good. You don't have to.
It's funny because I wanted to see a whole bunch of action adventure movies to see how well they hold up. And the Mummy doesn't really hold up that well, but it's still fun. Mm-hmm. But I think Pirates of the Caribbean, dude, that one's just like, if you don't watch it for at least a year, and then you watch at least the first three again, I mean, it's hard not to have fun.
And then you realize that you just went, oh shit, 4 hours just went by.
Yeah.
Of watching the movies.
I don't think I've ever seen a Pirates of the Caribbean.
What?
You really?
Probably not a single one, to be honest.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta come over and watch.
Before I was
It's a date.
Before I was hired at Alamo, I was uncultured swine. So yeah, I'm getting there.
Dude, I'm telling you, Pirates of the Caribbean. One of the best reasons why it's so great is because of Johnny Depp. He's just a very, very unique character in that movie series.
I like the story.
Yeah, and the stories, I like it. It's a little convoluted.
Juan's
but
faces otherwise.
I can live without that franchise.
No.
It's not that great.
Put it in its
No. No, I would disagree with that completely.
We'll argue another day.
Shit. Without that franchise, a lot of franchise wouldn't exist today. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, the whole movie aspect. I'm barely getting into a lot of movies, so it's like you bringing up Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm trying to get into like a lot of movies. I feel like I'm not anywhere near to like y'all's, list of all the movies and stuff you've seen, right? But
I mean, I guess to be fair, we work in a movie theater, so it's like
no shit.
So it's a lot easier. It's kind of our job to watch movies.
Yeah.
I watched the Intruder today, and I told Stephanie when she said she wanted to watch, I was like, no, I don't want to watch this movie. I saw the trailer and I was like, fuck this, man. But then I watched it.
Is it that one with that weird creepy dude?
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid? I'm sorry, but how come y'all don't like Dennis Quaid? Like, he's always been a good guy.
I mean, I'm not saying...
Who said we didn't like him?
No, I know, but like, everyone's super surprised, like, Dennis Quaid, what? And I'm like, he came out in that one fucking movie about the Huskies pulling the sled. Forgot what it's fucking called.
Crappy ass movie.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. But he was like in a lot of...
I mean, he came out on the day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, to wrap up The Intruder... Very basic thriller. Definitely a really good popcorn flick. The ending fucking pissed us off though. But y'all gotta watch that to see what I mean.
Cool. And you, John? What have you been watching?
At the moment, obviously, Game of Thrones. Yes, that's the main TV show that most people are obviously going to be watching.
Except that 1%.
Except for that 1%, and that 1%, and I really do hope that 1% is being peer pressured to watch the show.
They are,
because they're missing out on something that's very brilliant.
Stephanie used to be part of that 1%, and now she's like all for.
Yeah, dude.
I was one of that one part of that.
My
1%
dad was
too.
One of that 1%. He finished all 7 seasons within 2 weeks. Jeez. That's how. Yeah, he enjoyed it. Right? Aside from, obviously we can. You guys already talked about Game of Thrones. We can say that for later. But I'm believe it or not, barely watching The Office and Sunny in Philadelphia because of Juan, Mr. Juan over there, dude. That one trip to San Antonio to go watch a Gavin Dance concert. We just ended up watching like 4 or 5 straight episodes of Sunny, laughing our asses off. And I was like, dude, I missed out on this no filter show. It's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious.
It's like a more adult Seinfeld. It's really what it is. It's great.
Pretty much. Because my brother watches it, so I mean, we'll just be there in the garage. I'll get out from the gym. We'll just watch a couple episodes, laugh our ass off. All right, peace. Go to bed.
Yeah, I've watched The Office. The Office is awesome. It's the best.
I'm
But
ready
I haven't watched
season
Sunny
4.
yet.
Sunny, it's pretty dark, but it's fucking hilarious.
I think
I
Sunny is
wanna
just
watch
something
it.
you put and either you're watching it and enjoying it, if not, it's like pretty good, like just background noise.
Background noise.
Just kind of
That's pretty fair.
yeah, use your phone while you're watching something, you know.
You know, the only series I've ever done that with are the Marvel shows, besides Daredevil. But like Iron Fist and Luke Cage and Jessica
Fist is
Jones,
terrible.
I would just put them on and just like do homework and stuff.
The shows?
Iron Fist was.
Iron Fist was pretty bad.
Yeah,
I saw Iron
I enjoyed
Fist.
the rest of them a little bit more, but Iron Fist was
I
just the
stopped on
worst.
the Defenders. Defenders, I stopped there.
I didn't even watch that.
Yeah, I
actually.
didn't watch that either.
I didn't care for that whole.
Defenders is okay,
Yeah,
but
I didn't care for that.
I think Daredevil is probably the best out of all of them for sure.
I'd agree
never
out of what
saw
I've
The
heard.
Punisher.
Never saw
Oh,
it,
The
dude.
Punisher! I hear that one is good too. I haven't watched the both seasons yet, but I want to.
But they said they're getting rid of it off
Yeah.
Netflix, right?
They canceled all the Marvel shows on Netflix.
All of them?
Yeah,
Even Jessica Jones?
Daredevil.
Well, they're
Jessica
still
Jones.
doing season 3 though. They're
Yeah.
still doing, which don't
But-
know why, but they're doing season 3.
Well, I think it was filmed already.
Mm.
Oh, so just
So-
gonna release it.
Yeah, but then it'll be quickly canceled.
Which sucks, but yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we've been watching lots of movies and TV shows, and the next thing we were going to talk about was something that's going to take us into more argumentative territory. Is what we believe
Bless you.
is what we believe is the best video game franchise.
Oh,
And I know all of us have our own, favorite. And basically what we're going to do is talk about why it's our favorite. And then we're all just going to rip each other a new one.
Sappho, I don't want to go for it.
I feel like the one I'll bring up is pretty much one of the more obvious games. I think Carlos already knows. He already knows what I'm gonna fucking talk about, but that's why I won't talk about it right now. It's because this is something that will be brought up in depth. Like it's a good argument
Okay.
to see where it leads up to. Like,
Okay.
yeah, whoever wants.
I think Albie should go first.
Oh,
Oh man, I already know this one.
All right.
yeah, you don't know.
The Uncharted series.
It's,
You know
it's-
nothing.
It's Mass Effect or Witcher.
Oh yeah, there you go. But I mean,
Which one is it?
Basically.
Witcher's only like one good game though.
No, there's 3 good games.
I heard.
But no.
Okay, so
No.
is it The Witcher or?
Hold on. You see, that's the thing. It was really hard to choose between the two. But
Yes.
for now, I'm gonna have to go with. I did think about it, but it's just so hard to choose. I'll probably go with Mass Effect for now.
Mass Effect.
Yeah.
For now, you can't change your answer.
No, I'm not gonna change. I'm just saying for this
You're like, I'm
discussion.
losing. Go,
No.
go to Witcher.
Deal or no deal?
No. Matt, that's what I'm gonna choose for this discussion is Mass Effect, because that's the one that started everything that The Witcher gleams from and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I think Mass Effect is one of the best video game franchises of all time because everything that it did was so influential to all video games of today. I mean, everything from its conversation system to its choices and stuff, which admittedly don't lead to a lot of different endings, but do lead to a lot of different circumstances and situations, and can really much completely alter your experience compared to somebody else. Like if I come and talk to you, it's like, hey, did you go with so and so on this planet? And they're like, no, I never even met that person, or
Yeah.
that person died earlier or something like that. That's what's so unique about something like Mass Effect. But also just everything surrounding it. While its gameplay is rather generic, the fact that it has such a strong story, such a strong premise on what it's trying to do, which is basically make you be, it's interesting. It's kind of like Game of Thrones. In the end, you're kind of trying to get the whole universe to band together to defeat this one threat, which are the Reapers, And the fact that you're able to control it and kind of customize it down to a T, especially in the sense of what you choose and how you choose to go about it and how you choose to carry yourself in the game, that's what makes it such an amazing franchise. And I feel one of the best franchises and probably one of the best video game trilogies I've ever played.
I'm nice. Not bad. I only did. Yeah,
Sorry. My problem is the third game was probably the weakest out of the three.
I disagree.
Andromeda.
And like, well, I don't even want to count Andromeda for me personally because I think that was just so out of the spectrum as far as like it wasn't that good at all.
Yeah.
But I know three just failed to build the same storytelling, and
I
also,
disagree.
Like your choices just never really amounted to anything until like you get to the very end of the actual game.
No, that's completely wrong. Once you, I'm just saying, no, once you're playing Mass Effect 3, anything that you did in Mass Effect 2 completely changes the experience you have in Mass Effect 3. While admittedly the ending stays, pretty much the same.
They had to do a director's cut. That's how bad it was.
No, the director's cut was just to explain some stuff that was unexplained.
And
but that
also,
does not
make it a good game if they don't explain it.
No,
If they have to give you add-on, if they have to give you add-on content to explain stuff, then that does not make it good.
A bad ending, and admittedly, possibly from some people who said that it was a bad ending, does not make a bad game. The journey is what matters, not the destination.
I
mean, go ahead. I'm sorry, I chimed in a lot. So.
I don't have a lot to say about Mass Effect. I played Andromeda. I played for probably like a total of like 40, 50 hours, and then it just got, for me, kind of repetitive, and I just gave up. The animations were fucking garbage for a game this late in the game, as far as...
That's why I didn't include that one at all, to be honest.
I came into the Mass Effect franchise kind of like really late. First time I played the first one, it was
I only played the first one.
Maybe about 2 years ago is when I first got into it. I could not play the first Mass Effect. Like it was just such an old game now that I don't have the patience to play it. Yeah. I really don't. Can't really tell you what the problem was with it as far as details, but I just could not finish it.
I would say that Mass Effect 1, especially from a gameplay standpoint, doesn't hold up too well because of what they were trying to do, which was combine RPG mechanics with, shooting, which in the end, they ended up realizing that, maybe we should just do shooting, infused with RPG statistics rather, instead of like mechanics. And that's really what helped Mass Effect 2 and 3 to be better. And so, from a gameplay standpoint, Mass Effect 1 doesn't hold up that well, unfortunately. But I do think that what it started is something that was pretty much kind of like a revolution in video games. Because nowadays you can't, I'm serious because before Mass Effect, there wasn't that many games that gave you the choice to pretty much, tailor your experience to what you wanted it to be. Because Commander Shepard, you could have been, a hard ass, or you could have been a nice person, or you could have been a neutral person.
That is true, because Ram played that game when it first came out. He got it for Christmas or some shit. Mass Effect. And I think that's one of the first times I saw like the decision, mechanic implemented in a game where, you kind of determine what you say and, how things overall end up at the end. I think that's like the earliest I saw it. I mean, there could have been earlier than that, but I couldn't tell you all.
Okay, I could agree with that, because the more I think back, you're probably right. They started that, they just didn't execute it correctly, in my opinion. Because
that's one of the things that they did execute correctly.
In my opinion.
It was.
No.
Why
the fact that he couldn't even finish the first game or even play through the first game.
That was because of the game. Because of the gameplay.
Is that a part of it? When the choosing decision mechanic part of that?
Like, what was the thing that stopped you from playing part 1? Was it?
It was probably just the mechanics, man. It was just too fucking slow.
The gameplay, right?
I think at one point there was like no
That's
direction.
The same thing, though. It's a part of the gameplay.
No, but you're talking about like the shooting and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, just I couldn't tell you all like exactly what it was. It's just the overall experience was way too slow for me, and I don't know if it was the age of the game. At this point it had been out for like 10 years or some shit.
Yeah, about 10 years.
I've tried playing the game.
See, that's like Fallout New Vegas for me too. Bitch. I'm sorry. The beginning of that game, I just can't get through.
Which one?
Oh my god.
I cannot get through Fallout New Vegas.
You know what's crazy?
What?
So, since we're on the topic of Fallout is probably my favorite franchise ever.
Okay.
There you go.
Fallout has definitely dropped the ball with 76. I know people hated on Fallout 4, but I absolutely loved it. Although I never finished it because it was just so big and there's so
really
many
long.
games coming out that I kind of lost track of that. But yeah, Fallout is probably my all-time favorite gaming franchise. And talking about Mass Effect being the first ones to implement the decision, like mechanic there. Like I think Fallout did it really well. Probably not as well in. Fuck you, bitch.
No, I just gotta say, I mean, because I've played all the Fallout games,
Dude.
and I feel like not until I think 1 and 2 did it well, but I think 3 completely fell at that.
You interrupted me.
I'm just saying. Okay, go.
So
He's just mad because we're shitting on one. Right. Because one wasn't the good one.
Excuse me. So I really think that 3 kind of fell short on the whole decision making and the mechanics of the overall game, because the only way you couldn't really aim down sight at all during the first one. I mean, during the third one.
The third one, yeah.
So it was all with the the VAT system.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly think that Fallout New Vegas is probably one of the best games I've ever played. And what's crazy to hear is that Juan doesn't enjoy it and my brother doesn't enjoy it,
which I think is crazy.
I just can't get through those first 4 hours of monotonous nonsense.
It's not monotonous.
My brother
nonsense.
is the same way, so like it's interesting.
Like I don't know why.
Like,
I just can't.
I don't know what it is about you guys that you all can't get through that. But my brother's the same way. He cannot get through the first hour or two of Fallout.
I think
no idea why.
Ram bought Fallout 3 the first day it came out. Right.
Yeah.
He
beat
played
that?
it. No, he didn't beat it. He played it for about 4 days and he never touched it again. And then I picked it up, months later, and I mean, I was instantly in love with the game, dude.
And you see, I have to say, I personally don't like. I mean, I like Fallout 3 for getting me into the franchise, but New Vegas is probably my favorite Fallout.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, the whole beginning to me is awesome because you hear
for some reason I'm not even dissing it at this point. I just don't know why I cannot actually physically
I
sit through
realized that Fallout isn't
why.
for everybody, man.
I mean, I guess so, but also, the reason I like New Vegas is one of the same reasons why I love Mass Effect. But I think New Vegas does it even better and closer to what even The Witcher does, which is the fact that your decisions completely change how you play that game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I played through several endings. That's just how much I played it. I probably played through almost every single ending of that game.
Yeah, and I mean, there's entire quests that lock out.
Yeah, because of the things you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really think, Fallout is definitely one of the strongest franchises out there. Probably not anymore, but, in the past, their worlds, man, the worlds they build, the characters they build, some of the stories. I really think that Fallout just knocks it out of the park as far as the open world, being able to explore, all these places that, you kind of know what they are. Like they're not exactly, it's not like a real life monument for the most part, but it's pretty much damn well close to it. So, I think Fallout 4 did that probably the best in my opinion. I haven't played 76. I'm still debating whether I should hop on that. People tell me it sucks, so it's the only thing keeping me away from it.
Yeah, I mean, for Fallout, for me, I know it's a good franchise. I just have not touched it ever. And again, I don't know if it's what.
So you're missing out.
I mean, you play Mass Effect, so I'm not gonna.
So for the most part,
what's that? I play an amazing franchise. Okay, cool.
For the most part, all three of you, do y'all play RPGs? For the most
Yeah.
Okay.
I think RPGs are my favorite.
That's probably everyone's favorite, I think, here for the most part.
So y'all are the RPG class. I'm the FPS.
Yeah.
All right, 100%. Well, I mean that's what I usually play, but the one game that kind of did get me open with I guess RPG was Destiny, but I'm not going to talk about Destiny because Destiny is trash right now.
Yeah.
But the one game that for FPS, players, in my opinion, for me on Xbox is Halo. I'll just say Halo. I mean, y'all can start from there, but for the most part,
Up to where?
Halo Reach. Before Halo Reach,
okay.
After that, everything else has just been bad.
I completely agree.
I agree with that
Awful.
as well, actually.
The story, I love the story and where it's going, right? But as an FPS player, I'm a competitive player. I'm really, really all about that. The first game I got on the Xbox, well, the original Xbox, was Halo CE. That was where I became a addict with Halo. Just countless hours of playing, right? But aside from that, the story is really, really good. The campaign, going through Legendary, just, doing challenges and stuff like that, just to where you can improve and do things better. But just the whole FPS experience from Halo 2 to Halo 3, was the best, but after that they just went downhill.
Yeah, I think anything after Halo Reach.
Downhill.
Just kind of.
I would say
apart.
I think Halo did a lot for console shooters,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't consider it the best first-person shooter.
Well,
I mean-
and they're bringing it to PC.
I mean, I think they set, I guess, the foundation for a lot of games that we play now, man. Like,
No, not really.
no,
Yes,
no,
No,
yeah,
just
really.
I mean, as far as controls.
God.
No, I'm saying.
No,
saying.
okay, what, I want to hear what you're saying.
Okay,
it's-
let's hear the great mechanic.
First person
That's
shooters,
why-
competitive gaming, first
That's why I
person
was
shooters.
like, I
Who
know
laid
y'all
that
are-
foundation?
No, what's it
For
again?
competitive gaming,
Yeah,
it was everything from
competitive gaming,
from
first person shooters.
yeah, everything from Doom to Quake. All of those ones are the ones that did it first.
No.
Yes, it
but
was.
that was
Yes,
the-
it was.
in the scale
Yes,
of
it was.
Halo.
Okay, no,
Yeah,
no.
Doom. First you had Doom.
007.
First you had no. First you had Doom. First you had.
007,
You see, I
GoldenEye.
don't understand how you say fair to that when Doom is an actual game that came out on PC that had a competitive scene, and then it went to Quake, and then after Quake it went to Counter-Strike, and Counter-Strike still to this day is #1 in the competitive scene to the point where it has a whole esports thing behind it, which Halo does not have.
Because they dropped.
I mean, they
the bomb.
tried to do it, but
I mean,
Wait,
okay,
it's completely
Halo
failed.
tried to do esports. Halo was like super big on MLG for the longest time, dude.
It was big, but
Oh, it got
it died.
too
It died,
competitive.
but it died down, and Counter Strike still
yeah, but
hasn't.
we're talking about what laid the foundation for those,
So-
for the games we play now.
And I'm saying Counter Strike did.
No, man.
whatever, dude. Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry.
that-
Look,
those-
okay,
those
so
It was a spicy topic.
so everyone,
saying.
dude, no, just get the fuck out of here.
No,
Like-
it's a pure.
It was a spicy topic.
It's a pure fact.
It is.
No, motherfucker.
It is.
What?
I mean, it is a fact. I mean, Counter Strike came out before Halo.
I mean, just because it came out before, it doesn't mean it revolutionized fucking everything. Like,
Yes,
Halo came
yes.
up with a different Here's the thing. Everyone knows from day one, I'm a Sony fanboy. I am a Sony motherfucking fanboy. But the one thing that got me into Xbox, and the only thing, and this is the only thing I'll ever admit to you, Andy, fuck you, is that Halo was the only reason I played Xbox. I played
Yeah, I
Halo
mean, that
1,
doesn't-
Halo
that-
2, Halo
that-
3, all that, all on Xbox, just because, dude, you can't pour beer.
There's something wrong with fucking beer, man. I'm being super gentle. Fuck you guys, man. Whatever.
Dude, Halo, I'm sorry, like, I'm not agreeing that it's the best franchise of all time because I still have to talk about mine, but I know it is a trendsetter. You know, it is something that's unique, that was different, that happened to captivate, even in a story perspective, and the competitive play. You know, I could even play competitive play because I was not good at
You
it.
see, even from the story perspective, Half-Life did that first before Halo ever did.
But where's Half-Life?
Dave, that does not matter because Half-Life
okay,
did it first.
okay.
No,
No,
I'm
it
just saying.
doesn't matter.
No, well, because
So wait, you could get Half-Life in a bundle, right? Right, in the orange box, right?
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
But now they're actually putting Halo on PC, right?
yeah.
yeah,
Half-Life's
so-
on PC too.
Exactly.
I'm just
Exactly,
saying,
so-
in the peak of online
no.
gaming, in the peak
Sorry,
of
I wanted to
online
defend Halo.
gaming, Halo was the one that was coming up front. man.
Yeah.
When online gaming, competitive first-person shooters, where it was
you
becoming
see-
a thing, Halo was the front runner, dude.
No, well, you see, the thing is, you know, I'm just saying the thing is, all of us here got into competitive gaming when Halo was boosting it for the console crowd. But the online gaming, like competitive space,
consoles
had
now
already.
lesser than PC just because the fact that it lifted the console multiplayer world, the fact that you only had Xbox Live for Halo competitive mode is a bad thing.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it wasn't the first one to do it.
Of
That was
course,
my
of
whole
course.
argument.
I get it.
That was my whole argument.
Maybe
But
not
it's-
the first, but
And it wasn't the most-
Did it
and it
like
wa-
well or the best.
No, I mean obviously not because
Don't
Counter
fucking say
Strike.
Dude, fuck Counter Strike.
Dude, but it's true. I do. I don't play it. I don't know. I don't play every day. But I can tell you this: I've played Counter Strike more than Halo Online.
That's totally fine.
Counter Strike's for those PC gamers, man. Like, you know, you PC snobs, dude. That was your fucking game, honestly.
I bet you hate that we're recording on a Mac right now.
Oh yeah, it's probably fucking right in your game.
Well, I mean,
Easier than a PC.
I don't agree that Halo's probably the best franchise, but I think it's probably up there.
And that was my first argument was that I don't think it's the best
Oh, no.
first-person shooter franchise.
no,
That's all I
no,
was
Because
saying.
Counter Strike is right.
No, I would say, I mean, in my opinion, if I had to choose what the best first-person
here's the
shooter
real
franchise
curveball.
was.
Is it because
console.
you sucked at Halo? Is that why you don't? Is that why you hate it so much?
No.
Because Ram used to wreck your shit.
I'll
I
admit,
teabag you.
I'll admit, I was too poor to have a console.
And guess
like
what?
you.
To this day, I'm
Don't
literally,
even throw
literally
the whole
yesterday.
fact of availability if you had a console or not in this. Like,
No,
a
it's
fact.
true.
You
It's
cannot
true.
discount how good the game was.
Well,
I'm not-
at
I'm
this
not-
point, you know, growing up with it in middle school, like late middle elementary, playing Halo 1 and all that, I'm still playing the damn game today. I was playing it yesterday, you know, still high competitive level of the game. I'm still playing it today. Like, I can go in a drought and play a game, you know, I'll go play Destiny for a couple months, you know, let's go do some raids, let's go fuck some shit up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know what, going back to Halo, and I'm on the Halo grind again. I'm just playing Halo 3 again. Like, it's just something I love. It's just something that's been a part of me. So it's like, I never get told to me, I mean, there's still a huge community, you know, it's just, we haven't been given a good game. So that's why I'm saying for future of the franchise of 343, hopefully Halo Infinite just, they resurrect from the fucking dead and bring the game back. Because,
Fingers crossed on that.
yeah,
man.
fingers crossed. I just don't want them to
Hopefully,
drop it, you
man.
know, like, it's just aside from, you know,
To do what?
my argument is just because
Like with
since
Halo
I'm
Infinite?
Halo Infinite,
Like making a comeback.
I'm not gonna say
I don't trust
from the
343.
story. I love the
3.
story, but you know I'm a competitive gamer, so that's where I see the game as. Hopefully that's another thing they do correct. But you
I
know,
don't know,
story
man.
wise, I'm in love with the story. So
I think
see where it goes.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can't argue with that. And, I mean, but the only thing is, I think when Bungie left, that was the death
That
knell.
was the
And I
death
don't think
knell,
Halo's
yeah.
ever going to go
They-
back
they-
to its glory days.
yeah.
Unfortunately. I don't think it's going to happen.
Because we're used to their engine runners and all that. And then when 343 came in, and it's like, yes, most of the majority of the people that were working for 343, they're from Bungie, but you know, it was totally different. Like,
Yeah, because, I mean, most of the old people moved on to Destiny. You know, they stayed with the original Bungie.
here's the
Yeah.
good news though: Activision separated from Bungie for Destiny, so we'll see where the fuck that goes.
It's interesting. I didn't know that.
You know,
Did you know that?
yeah.
Activision just separated from Bungie.
Super happy about that.
Yeah, and
I'm happy
but
about that.
the thing is, if you look into what happened with Destiny 2, you'll see that 90% of all the choices that they made with Destiny 2 was from Bungie and it wasn't from Activision. Like no, I'm just saying. I'm saying so.
Give him some hope.
No, I'm just saying that's what's yeah.
Keep going.
That's what's a little like unfortunate is that when you look into like who made those decisions, like for example, introducing the Eververse store was Bungie's decision. The fact that
The money.
the fact
What'd you say? The Counter-Strike store.
the fact when there was that little issue where they weren't giving us much XP,
The
but
lottery.
it wasn't showing it like in the game, that was also Bungie's decision. You know,
It's
there's like a
fine,
lot of
though.
things that Bungie has made as a decision,
Mm-hmm.
and same thing with BioWare and Anthem. That doesn't really give me much hope for them being on their own, especially that publishing a game is a whole other ball game. I mean, that's why even when you go to people who technically self-publish,
Mm-hmm.
they still partner with companies like CD Projekt, still partners with Warner Brothers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I say we stop shitting on Albie and just see what editor has to say. Maybe we'll shit on him for a little bit.
See where it goes.
Yeah, totally shit on me. I want it. Nah. What do you call it? Nah, man. I think mine, you know, as it is in its entirety, is definitely. First of all, Naughty Dog is my favorite studio of all time at this point because their ability to create stories. And the reason I'm going to say Uncharted before everyone shits on me, because everyone heard Uncharted coming, was the fact that Uncharted had a lot of milestones that it created within itself. Because when you look at the first game, you know, it was a hard blueprint of what they wanted to do. I mean, it was like an Indiana Jones movie with shitty mechanics.
I could not get past the first game.
Oh, and that's the thing. Like the first game, obviously, if we all look at it, it was not a good game. They had something, but it was not like the best game at all. So they took what they had with part one and they refined it, and then they made Game of the Year, you know, Uncharted 2. And Uncharted 2 created more stories, brought more characters. It started developing Drake, and it's always been about Drake. And part 2, you know, he really gets a grasp of who he is, you know, obviously with Elena and his relationship, and then also getting involved with the second, like, love interest. And you go to 3, where at this point, like, this whole thing's getting old, but they're starting to show how this guy doesn't quit and how it basically develops into this self-destructive, like, I'm going to keep doing this at all costs because this is just what I do. And he keeps doing it, and he keeps doing it. And what's cool about the 3rd one, too, they really refined the fighting mechanics, and that opening sequence was fucking amazing, if anyone's played that. Also, there's an Easter egg of The Last of Us on there, which is fucking cool.
Really?
Yeah, it's fucking cool. It's like a newspaper at the end of the bar, and it says, like, the plague or whatever, like, obviously hinting The Last of Us.
Shit.
So,
Okay.
so they actually have an Easter egg in there, hinting what The Last of Us was. So that was fucking cool. But overall, that game was not as good as the second game, but it did develop Drake's story. So then we get into 4, and everyone's going to talk shit about 4, but this is truly, like, to me, his end game. You know, this is where he was. You know, you see him in the beginning of the game. Sorry, am I spoiling this?
No.
Honestly, I tried playing the first game and I couldn't get into it. I tried getting into the entire series and I could not.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so I just did not want to spoil it if someone was going to play it. But going into the 4th game,
Fuck you.
I mean, whatever. Going into the 4th
Probably better than
game,
Mass Effect,
so
just throwing that out there.
taking the jabs again. But yeah, so going into the 4th game, so he's old now. Oh, god damn it. So yeah, going into the 4th game, he's old now. He's a lot older. He's married to Elena. And, you know, one of the sequences they have, which I thought was amazing, was like he's in his attic and all the old artifacts that he's collected, photos, are all up there. And he gets like a toy Nerf gun.
Like his archive or something.
Yeah, basically, of like what he's done throughout his life. And he's up there with the Nerf gun, and he starts pretending like he's starting to shoot bad guys again.
He's all old, though?
And yeah, and he's old, and he's just kind of like, well, fuck, man, I don't do this anymore, so let me pretend again. So he starts pretending, and you're just...
go into like a sequence or something.
Yeah, and he pretends he's doing something, and it's just like, he's clearly not, you know, and then, so he wants to go back to that life. He wants to go back to being that thief, you know, and that's what was really amazing. So he, again, goes on this quest. This is a spoiler I'm not going to say, just in case you do get interested, because all I know, it involves Troy Baker, and I love Troy Baker, because he's another one of my favorite franchises, but still... Huh?
You said franchise.
I said voice actor.
You said franchise.
Franchise.
Yeah, you said that.
Whatever. I said he's in my other favorite franchise. Whatever.
I know what you meant.
Yeah, fuck you, Abby. Fuck you in Mass Effect and Counter-Strike Go.
He's just trying to throw some jabs.
Point is, there's a lot that goes on within that sequence where he goes through this life-ending journey of kind of putting that stuff to bed. And, you know, the 3rd act of that game is, according to people, slow, but it's showing the problems that it's bringing to his marriage. It's showing the problems that it does to his body, and it just shows your hero just being withered and...
Like he's deteriorating.
And it just isn't working anymore. And the way they end this game is so fucking beautiful, because they show basically his child, and the child bumps into all his old artifacts, all his old pictures, and then she's just like, "What's this?" And Drake's just kind of like, "Let me tell you this story." Or no, Elena looks at him and is just like, "Fuck, are we ready to tell her all this crazy shit that we've done
Together?
Yeah. So then then he's like, "Now or never." And then so they go on a boat ride, and he starts telling her basically
Is
everything.
that what you play through?
Hmm?
Is that what you play through?
No, that's the end.
Like
Oh, that's the
ending.
ending.
That's literally the ending.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Reminds me of
Mhm.
spoiler-free zone for Endgame, but that reminds me of
Dude, yeah,
Tony Stark.
that's exactly what I was thinking about.
And honestly,
I was going to be like, Endgame.
And seriously, like, that's why that's my favorite franchise. Like, I actually don't replay it often, but it's definitely one of those games I'll never forget. I'm like, as far as like Drake as a character and what he became, this really shitty like Indiana Jones character that you didn't take seriously, to
Like
a husband,
persona, like,
and to this husband and man that like really wish he could have been what he was. And it's interesting, it's so interesting. And Naughty Dog, again, like, not really discounting Lost Legacy and the other I forgot the other Uncharted Golden Abyss, I believe was the other one from Bench Studios, which they just came out with Days Gone, which is fucking cool.
Days Gone is cool. Days Gone is cool.
Well, they worked on an Uncharted game.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much the only reason why I want to get a PlayStation, because of Days Gone. But dude,
Out of all the games,
dude, God of War.
Last time I had a PlayStation, I'm not shitting you.
There's
it was
so
a
many.
PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 was the last PlayStation console I had. Because my brother had them, but he left that, like he moved out, and I was like, well, there goes all my PlayStation games. I'm never gonna play it again, because again, I'm the Halo addict.
Just to touch on Days Gone, I've been seeing some horrible reviews on it, man.
They say that a friend of mine from work, he said he's been playing it, and he says that it's really glitchy, like really bad.
Yeah, dude.
So is Division 2, but that's really good.
No. But I think Days Gone. I recently, before y'all got here, I saw a video of Days Gone and just like why the guy stopped playing it. And it's fucking ridiculous, dude. People spawning out of nowhere. One of the NPCs that you're fighting is just standing there, not really doing nothing. Like fucking zombies can't pass this invisible barrier, so they're not gonna come get you. It was pretty ridiculous.
It's glitchy, yeah.
But I guess getting back on the topic of best game franchises, I don't think Uncharted is the best, but I think Juan probably made the best argument.
Yeah, 100%.
You got anything to say?
No, what?
You gotta go quiet.
No, I mean, I don't agree. No,
he made one of the best arguments. You have to give him that.
no, I mean, no, I'm just saying.
I appreciate the credit, Carlos.
Well, no,
fuck you, man.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, you talked about why you liked it, but you didn't talk about why those things made it great. I would say that
That franchise won Game of the Year twice.
just because it won Game of the Year,
Twice.
Mass Effect also won Game of the Year many
game?
times.
It only won Game of the Year on Mass Effect 2.
No,
Which-
one Game of the
which
Year,
game?
Mass Effect 2
Uncharted?
and Mass Effect
Uncharted,
3.
yeah.
Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3 both won Game of the Year.
No, wait. Mass
Yes, they
Effect
did.
3 did not.
Yes, they did.
That
Yes,
is
they did.
trash.
No, it's not.
Fact check him.
fact
Fact check
check
him. Fact check him.
Google.
And if he did, man, that's fucking trash. You can
It's
tell.
not trash. It's not trash. No, I'm just
Dude,
saying.
three
I'm
was-
just
dude,
saying.
It had
Also,
an alternate ending that you had to download. That is
that's-
not. It wasn't good. No one was happy with the original ending, so they made an alternate ending that was worse.
no. So the thing about Uncharted.
Oh, here we go. Here comes the salt.
He's about to bitch that I bitched him out for Counter-Strike Go.
No. No, the thing about Uncharted is that Naughty Dog can't be faulted with truly enveloping the characters with something that is truly worth caring about. But beyond that, when you go to the game mechanics, when you go to the stories themselves, they run the gamut of genericness, And while Uncharted can be
How many
credited-
conversations did we have that you said how great Uncharted was?
No, it's great, dude, but we're
but-
talking about the best video game franchise of all time, right? And I think because of all that genericness, the fact that other things have done before, the fact that
Come on, he
the fact
jumps
that-
like Crash
the fact-
Bandicoot. You could
fact-
feel it in the way he jumps. He jumps like Crash.
The fact that it's not the fact that its stories, for the most part, while they're great for a video game, I would say movies have done it better.
Okay, don't even compare it to a movie though.
No,
We're
I'm
talking.
just saying-
We're talking
But-
strictly video game. Now if we're gonna bust out that whole movie nonsense. I already got another game for you, like in so many ways.
No.
So-
Your
but,
game
like-
franchise was Uncharted, and the only reason I don't, of course it did.
Hold on. Fact check
Mass
here.
Effect game. The Mass Effect 3 Game of the Year is March 6th, 2012.
No, that's when it came out.
Oh,
Yeah, no, but it got-
Game of the Year. That's what it says right
Hey
there.
man, I've been
That's-
looking at it. I cannot find where it says it won.
It,
Game of the
it,
Year.
it won.
Thank God. Okay,
I don't think
go.
it won Game of the Year, dude.
It
Like,
did win Game of the
just
Year.
because there's a Game
on
of the Year
Game
edition doesn't mean a Game of the Year.
Well,
On Game
first of all-
Informer doesn't mean anything.
Okay, no. First of all, no.
Young
First of all,
dude.
no. First of all, it's a complete lie.
Just
No,
because
no.
it got a Game of the Year edition doesn't make it Game of the Year.
No. First, a game cannot get a Game of the Year edition unless it's got a Game of the Year from a publication. And weirdly enough, when you see a Game of the Year edition on a video game, For some reason, there's a game publication out there that's as credible as Game Informer, IGN, or GameSpot that actually gave it a Game of the Year.
We just talked about how incredible though IGN is, and now you're backing them.
No, I'm just saying they're credible. They're credible to Metacritic. Okay. They're credible to to Rotten Tomatoes. Well, not Rotten Tomatoes, right? But I mean we're talking about video games. Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't take an aggregate for video games.
I get what you're saying, Abby.
I get you.
No, yeah, and
fuck you, Abby.
And I'm just saying, So Mass Effect 3 did win Game of the Year, and it won Game of the Year from Game Informer, and won Game of the Year from many.
Now it's from Game Informer.
I said Game Informer.
I'm just saying, fact check.
Shit, I'm sorry, I could not. I didn't follow like the beginning of this conversation. So.
I have the magazine. It's from Game Informer. They gave it Game of the Year.
Again, you stated earlier that it won Game of the Year twice.
No.
You said 2 of them, the second and the third. Now we weren't talking from a publication. We weren't talking from a publication.
Mass Effect 2 and 3 got Game of the Year. What other thing gives Game of the Year?
The fucking actual award shows.
There wasn't.
Was there award shows back then?
No.
Yeah, there was. There
was award shows,
but it wasn't on there.
They weren't chosen by journalists though. At that time, it was just people's choice, But an award show doesn't make it more credible than a video game publication giving a Game of the Year.
All right.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Okay, cool.
You finally said the fair statement.
And just to finish up, why I feel like. I mean, this is for argument's sake, right? Why I feel like your argument wasn't as strong was because you never explained past what makes Uncharted a game franchise that has influenced multiple games, not only in the future, but the fact that all the mechanics that it's done were done perfectly well. I
mean, okay, so
we're not game fucking critics, bro. We're just this is like our fucking opinion.
But you're talking about.
I don't know what you expect.
No, I'm just saying you're talking about best franchise of the year.
So if we're talking about like Uncharted that had an Easter egg to The Last of Us, what the fuck do you think?
What about?
It had an Easter egg to The Last of Us. You're telling me that did not have any influence on The Last of Us?
No.
Oh my God!
No. You're just talking about. No, you're just talking about Easter eggs. What does that got to do with whether or not Last of Us is a good
They
game?
have the same mechanics. Last of Us and Uncharted have basically more or less the same mechanics that are both from both games.
They have same mechanics.
So that's not an influence, correct?
No, why would?
Well, that's an influence.
Why would
right?
an Easter egg be an influence?
But you're asking, how did that revolutionize multiple games?
Yeah,
right.
How did it revolutionize multiple games?
So that's 2 games in 1 game.
What are you talking about?
Like,
no, you guys aren't making any sense.
No, because they're clearly talking about like you're asking how did it influence other games?
Yeah, how did it influence other games?
It influenced The Last of Us.
Uncharted
really?
That
was the writer to Uncharted 3 worked on The Last of Us?
Yeah.
How the fuck are you telling me there's no influence from Uncharted that goes to The Last of Us?
Okay, that's one game.
Oh, that's one game.
Games. But Mass Effect influenced multiple games.
Okay, so you're
everything
telling me
from Telltale to
Telltale's a good game. I like Telltale.
Any Telltale game or any game that decides
just because it uses the same mechanics and your game can effectively use them doesn't mean that influenced it.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, ever since Half-Life introduced, for example, cinematics were.
So what does Half-Life have to do with this conversation?
No, I'm giving an example as to how to answer your question. Is ever since Half-Life.
So it's one game, right?
No. Ever since Half-Life introduced the whole mechanic of whenever you have a cutscene, it doesn't take control away from you. Multiple games started doing it too. Halo did it. Call of Duty did it. Doom did it. So many games have done it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to influencing. You know what I mean?
If you want me to get a whole fucking chart for you, I will.
When you go to Mass Effect, its decision-making process that was in the game, where you make choices and stuff, influenced multiple games. Everything from Telltale to other RPGs that introduce the same kind of mechanic. But when you go to Uncharted...
But how do you know that's where they got it from?
Because Mass Effect is the one that came up with it. Came up with the radio
but where's
wheel and
the proof? Where's the proof? Where's the fact?
The fact
is in the games themselves. The fact that they introduced those things after Mass Effect. Sorry.
So how about Fallout? No, just kidding. I just needed to cut you all off. Yes, please.
Just fuck you for wanting us to be this critical fucking game critic.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm not a game critic. I'm not going to tell you, this influenced this.
And how are you going to decide who has a better argument?
how am I
Yeah,
going
I
to
mean-
decide? I mean, just overall why you like it more than other games.
It's like a presentation on being Bryce.
Yeah, man.
That's
It's like-
what this
'cause
is.
If we're gonna talk about
If
being a
we're about
fucking
to-
critic,
yeah.
we're gonna fucking lose to you, man, because this is what you fucking do. So shut the fuck up.
no.
You write a review every week.
Check it out. Here's
No.
a random, just a random fucking like Easter egg. Why is it that Halo is such a good game, but on Xbox, if you're randomly playing a fucking game, Cortana pops out all the fucking time on your Xbox. Boom, mic drop. We're in the middle of a game and Cortana just like it's like the Siri of Xbox.
That's true.
Fucking
That's
bitch just
pretty-
comes
yeah.
out all the damn
That's pretty
time.
But I really think we stayed too long on this topic.
Because fuck
So
this guy
if-
for wanting me to be your critic.
You know, for those of you listening, let us know who had the better argument, and if you know, well, I mean, better argument. I feel like right off the bat I'm gonna lose this, but if you think Fallout is a better, franchise, let us know. If you think, what was yours? Uncharted, Mass Effect, trash, and then Halo,
Trash indeed.
Let us know what you think.
Nah, actually, 2. I could give credit to 2. That was a great game.
Andromeda was probably the best.
I was like, dude, you're about to make this motherfucker Hulk.
I don't know if you want to move on to the next topic.
Well, beer break is what it is.
Oh, beer break.
So what?
No, I thought that was already on beer break, so.
Oh, okay.
Let's take a break real quick.
Hey guys, this is beer break. Just so y'all understand what's going on. In our beer break, we're gonna either chug beer, take shots, play drinking games, whatever, just for your enjoyment to watch. So watch us get fucked up and see if we make sense afterwards. All right, here we go.
What did he say?
Cheers, my buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers, brothers.
Oh God. I guess. Oh God. Whew. It hurts my neck.
Oh, fuck
Here it
that.
comes, here it comes. No, y'all's are too cold.
I was about to say that motherfucker cold, dog.
They're cold.
Oh shit.
Right now, I'll be.
Dude, I feel like it. Oh,
Just so everyone's aware, Albie doesn't drink. So he's gonna be the one to look out for in these beer
The times
breaks.
that we played Monopoly, I've actually
yeah, stand up.
he's only had like maybe like one beer, maybe like half a glass of wine or something like.
I mean,
oh God.
Oh, he's hyperventilating.
you throw up on my
No, I'm not gonna throw. Dude.
This is Beer Break's first episode, and it's going well.
Is this first time?
Yeah, it's our first episode.
Well, based off
I told
camera,
Juan
right?
earlier.
Pretty much, yeah.
I haven't thrown up since I was like 11.
Oh, what a badass man! You really
Were you
had
done with
Oh
that?
yeah, I haven't.
Did you finish it?
Oh, there you go.
I just haven't gotten that sick.
You have to get the burp out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the foam, dude.
Let me know when you finish so I could clap.
Oh, goddamn. There you go.
We just chugged some beers and we're going on to our next topic. Next one's gonna be best video game movie. And I'm gonna go ahead and start this off. So my favorite video game movie, it is a shitty one, might I add, is the movie called Stay Alive. Is anyone familiar with that movie?
Oh my god.
I think I.
No.
I think I've heard of this game before. It's basically like you're playing a game and you die in the game, you die in real life.
Yes,
Right?
and it has Frankie Muniz, fucking random.
Yeah. No, never
But,
saw
but,
it.
but, but what's
Frankie Muniz.
But what's really fucking cool
That
about
guy's
this
still
film, dude, no shit, right? When I saw that movie, I'm like, no shit.
Oh my God, dude.
Yes, dude,
So,
right?
Let me
Right?
guess. Let me guess.
remember
Rotten
that
Tomato
one,
score.
dude.
Rotten Tomato score.
Guess.
It's like a 26.
Like an 8.
Whoa.
It's 8. It's shittier.
Lower.
9.
Why?
Dude, it's such a shitty movie. It's such a shitty movie. Okay, the reason. Hey, but there's some cool little things about that film that I really enjoy. First of all, the lore, the whole story behind that, the main villain or the enemy, that was like a real story. That's like a real folklore story.
How bad it was though.
It was terrible. Honestly, you look at the film today, it's terrible. Doesn't hold up. Acting's terrible. Frankie Muniz just says fuck, and you're like, oh, he was in Malcolm in the Middle. And that's what you remember. And that's it.
I liked you in that show.
So how does that make it the best video game?
Okay, go,
No,
continue.
see, I was going. So the actual lore of the movie, this is an actual folklore where a woman would actually do this, where she would go and kill, human beings for their blood, and she would soak it in to be younger. So that was a really cool, actual, true folklore you could look up. I forgot the actual name of it, but that's a real thing. Another thing
I've
cool.
actually heard of something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it's super neat. Like my dad knew about it. Like when he saw the movie, he's like, "Oh, that's that story from like years ago," and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Like La Llorona.
Yeah, basically some shit. But another cool thing is like the way they interacted the game with the movie. It was really cool because basically, if you were playing the game, you could help the people in real life. So it's kind of puñetas where there's a scene specifically where she's like, I want to.
Yeah, is that in his vocabulary?
Yeah, apparently. So as we keep drinking, you know, you're gonna see more of this. But basically, so there's a scene where they need to open a door, and the guy's basically like, I need a crowbar. Holy shit! And the guy's like, let me get you a crowbar. And he's playing the game. He drops the fucking crowbar on the stairs, and she's like, "Oh look, the crowbar!" And then he gets the crowbar and opens the fucking door. And what's also cool throughout the entire movie, you'll hear a. And it's the rumbling of the controller.
Oh my god!
And that basically what
the
built.
rumble pack.
Yeah, it was hilarious. And honestly, like what makes it my favorite like video game movie is that like it was cool. It was a cool little horror flick that again I enjoyed just to watch. You know, just to watch. I mean, it wasn't fun. It wasn't edgy. It wasn't. This isn't a movie critic review. Like this is really like something that I really enjoyed because they really brought it home to the gamers as far as like a horror game. I mean, it was cool because it was a co-op game. The whole way they would start the game was like they would recite this poem, and then that's when the curse would be on them, and that was fucking cool. And obviously none of it's fucking real, but it was fucking badass to just go through that.
Why do I remember this movie?
Dude, it's a bad, shitty movie, but it's good.
I
remember it,
the
but I
trailer,
remember
though.
like watching it and falling asleep.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. It wasn't a good movie. It really wasn't.
Like low budget and everything. Like
Yeah.
Oleo, 9%.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was terrible. Here you go.
No, I was saying we should just go around and then, you know.
No, I mean, I really don't got much to say on it. I mean, I feel like I've seen it, but I mean, probably it was years ago. And like I said, I probably fell asleep on it. So, I mean.
I've never heard of it, so it sucks.
You've never heard of what?
I've heard of it.
But how can you base a movie off of just like, because you've never seen it, it sucks? What Juan just spoke about didn't.
It's pretty rare for a movie to be good and you've never heard of it. Somehow you've heard of it somehow. Especially a game, especially a movie, I mean.
Just pick your pinky up.
Especially a movie that, you know, has come out.
For those of you who don't know, Albie's probably the biggest movie snob here. Biggest movie critic. He has good critics.
Plot twist. He loves Fast and the Furious.
He's excited for Hobbs and Shaw.
It's a guilty pleasure.
He's excited for Hobbs and
It's a
Shaw.
guilty
Hobbs and
pleasure.
Shaw is like negative.
It's
for
a
me.
guilty pleasure.
No, but definitely
negative.
check out Albie's reviews. I mean, they're actually really good.
They're
They
really good.
really are.
They
To-
really
to,
are.
To be fair, they're really great reviews.
Thank you, guys. Well, you know, it's interesting you bring up Hobbs and Shaw. Because that's no. That's the reason why I choose my next video game movie as the best video game movie.
Need for Speed.
No.
Dude, I thought you were talking about cars. I'm sorry.
No.
That's fair.
Okay,
Need
so
for
the
Speed
reason
Car
I look forward to Hobbs and Shaw is because it looks like it's just gonna be fun.
Oh,
You know, it might be ridiculous, stupid, retarded, but it's gonna be fun. You know, and I think for me so far, since we've had like such a meager pickings when it comes to video game movies, we don't have a lot of great video game movies. We don't have any really good video games. But one that I would say that was really, really fun and entertaining was Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, with The Rock and Jack Black and Karen Gillian.
I mean,
No, it's the same thing as what
Why?
he
Because
said.
they're playing a video game?
because
They were playing a video game in his movie.
If you go back to the origin, it was a board game.
he's pretty fair on that, but no. That's not in my eyes.
Because
Yeah, I mean, to me,
is
so
that your best
Robin
video game
Williams-
movie?
yeah. No, so so
disgusting, dude.
No, so to me, the reason why it's one of the best video game movies is because it's incredibly funny to the point to the point where it makes fun of like the tropes you see in video games all the time. Like you have the freaking tour guide who says your quest is to get the jewel and save.
is that
the
all he
princess
says
and
all
blah,
the
blah, blah,
time?
blah.
And then your quest. Is, he repeats himself.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're coded in the video game. That's their code.
Yeah, and they just repeat themselves whenever they ask him in so many different ways. And so your quest is to get the jewel and save the princess, blah, 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 blah. And then you see whenever they have their stats and stuff, like The Rock has smoldering, and then it's like, what's that? And then The Rock just
It's like
Smolders?
insert smoldering the rock right there.
I think it's just
It's pretty fair, actually. That's actually really fair.
It's kind of cool, but
Here, I'm gonna attack you on that.
I mean-
Jumanji was a board game before a video game.
yeah, but
Oh!
no, but in
Bum, bum, bum.
in the movie, Jumanji has been converted into a video game.
But
So
with
it still
Robin
stands.
Williams, it was a board game.
It still stands as a video game in the second one. And I'm not
Yes,
talking. I'm
sir.
not talking about the first one. I'm talking about
I
Jumanji:
get
Welcome
you,
to the
though.
Jungle.
I get you. Yeah, I mean,
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's just it's a very funny movie. It makes fun of video game tropes, like what we already know about
yeah.
video games.
Yeah,
I think that
that's fair.
speaks to us a lot, especially. I mean, it's almost in a sense, it's kind of like, you know, when you watch Deadpool, it makes fun of comic book tropes, right? And Jumanji makes fun of a whole bunch of video game tropes, and it has pretty decent action and definitely likable characters, and the charisma between all of the actors is pretty great all around, especially between The Rock and Kevin Hart.
yeah, dude.
You know,
it's like a tough love.
I mean, to me, it's really hard for a PG-13 movie to be funny, and the fact that Jumanji made me laugh and it's PG-13, I think that's another win for it.
I think PG-13 movies make me laugh, but in general,
do.
I just want to throw one out.
Rare.
So, I mean, my final thoughts on Jumanji. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean,
Oh, God.
You're right?
Yeah.
all right.
Shit.
So,
I think he's dead.
my final thoughts on Jumanji. I mean, okay, it has some like video game aspects of it, but I mean, I think there's a little bit as a gamer like yourself. I think there's some movies that have come out that you could have chosen besides fucking Jumanji. But
Well,
He's dying from that beer, dude.
okay, if you need a break, I can get into mine.
no, it's okay. At least from my perspective. When it comes to straight video game movies, they all suck, and Jumanji is one of the only ones on Rotten Tomatoes that has the first score.
The first, it's because it has a fucking Rock and Kevin
Rock
Hart.
and Kevin Hart.
But yeah, but
That's a movie.
but I mean, in the end, when you won't go watch a movie, you know,
I watch it for
look,
the actor. No.
no, but when you go watch a movie, you want to be entertained, and the scale of entertainment can go from a scale of 1 to 10. Maybe something like The Intruder entertain you something like a 7 out of 10. You know, which is good. You know, it's not bad. It's not mediocre. It's good. Yeah. But something like Jumanji to me was entertaining on a scale of almost like 9 out of 10 because I laughed. Now, is it a good movie? Maybe not. But is it a video game movie? Sure.
It's like watching a Marvel movie now. You laugh for the majority of the movie now because they make it to where the viewer just like they want you to be entertained, not only aside from the action, but they want you to laugh throughout the whole movie. Yes, comedy wise, a lot of
That's fair. That's why I didn't like Thor Ragnarok. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I think that's the
You're
only
crazy.
reason
it's
why I
too
like Thor
much. It's
Ragnarok.
too much.
No. I think where the comedy was too much, and I'm probably gonna get some hate for this, but
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I think there was just
I-
several
too
parts
much.
where they were
I-
just
too
trying
much.
way too hard, man.
I'd agree with that. I mean,
You
there's
can't
Nebula when she
Yeah.
eats when Nebula eats like the turnip and she's like, no sour.
Dude, I think Drox was like the most annoying character throughout that entire.
I thought he was the best, dude.
God.
It's how
Fast
You
and
like the dumb
Furious.
humor. You like the dumb humor.
dumb humor. Oh.
Drox is fucking dumb humor.
No,
I
it's
love
not.
look,
Look,
don't
you
get
see,
me
what
wrong.
makes
Do not get me
what
wrong.
makes
I
Drax
love dumb humor.
something incredibly smart.
That's why I
is
watch
the-
South Park.
But you see, what makes Drax something incredibly smart is the fact that you know that this character takes everything literally, and
Yeah,
the fact
literally,
that the
yes.
fact that you have to write that. Now it's easy to do something when it comes to a simple concept like, you know, man, it's kind of hard. Even for me, it's kind of hard to think of a simple concept that you would take literally. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they're really consistent on that because you can very
Making
easily.
a dumb character.
Yeah, no, it's not a dumb character. It's a character that takes everything literally, and I think that's something you can very easily twist to kind of converge into different things. And the fact that they keep it on just the literal path is what makes it's smart, dude. It's not anybody could have just written them. I mean, that's why James Gunn, they're bringing him back
So you
for
mean-
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 despite everything he's
Okay,
done.
we're we're drifting off.
Yeah, we are drifting off.
Okay,
but
cool. Well, I'm actually gonna get into my favorite video game movie, and I'm gonna. Okay, you got, what,
No, I'm just wondering what you're gonna say.
okay,
Because I think I know what you're gonna
Okay,
say,
I'll
and
take some-
I'm excited.
I'll take some guesses.
I don't know.
Come on, 2000.
Oh, fucking
I mean,
Batman,
I
dude.
as much as I wanted to choose that one,
Fucking
I wanted
Batman.
to focus on the live
it can't
action.
be Batman though.
Why? There was a
Why?
game of.
There's plenty of games of Batman.
Batman started as a comic book and then into a movie and then into a game.
Okay, fair.
Go
fair.
fuck
It's
yourself
no-
with the board game.
It's the same thing you said for Star Wars.
Can I go?
Yeah,
Shut
sorry.
the front door.
Okay, cool. As much as I wanted to do Pokemon 2000 because I watched that movie when I was young, fucking cried my eyes out as a kid. But
Dude, I actually saw it there in your
Yeah.
house with you and Rand.
yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that one. Before you all fucking throw me shit, just kind of let me explain myself. So, I personally enjoyed Assassin's Creed.
The movie?
The movie. Fucking.
No, I'm not saying
I never saw it.
I have been.
I'm out of this.
I have been a.
Explain yourself, please, sir.
No. I mean, it's a pretty simple explanation. I've been a fan of Assassin's Creed since the first one
Me too.
with Altair and Ezio, the Brotherhood, all that all that stuff. I've been a fan ever since then, right? So even though, when I saw this movie, I think I was still somewhat uncultured or not as cultured as I wanted to be. So I wasn't looking for all the aspects of I guess plot holes, the storyline, all that stuff, right? But for what I saw, just seeing, the Animus, working as a live action thing, like I absolutely loved it, man. Like
It was pretty awesome.
yeah,
I
it
have
was.
to admit that.
So the ending where they all kind of realize, who they were in their past lives and all the traits they've inherited, through the Animus and all that, and they kind of start rebelling, dude. Like I've always wanted a modern day
Assassin's Creed.
Yes,
Oh,
dude.
yes.
I've always wanted
Spoken
a modern
on true
day
fans.
Assassin's Creed, and I think the movie gave me, hope that there is a chance for that. Although the games haven't quite gotten there, I know there's parts of the game where you play in modern day, right? With Odyssey when you're there. What's her name? She fucking scuba dives into find. I haven't played the game forever.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't think
The
of the
name
name right now.
escapes me.
Yeah. But I mean, although you see some modern day aspects in the games itself, like the movie
They never go
gave
too
you,
much. Yeah.
like actual modern day assassins and what Abstergo's doing at that time. So, personally, as far as seeing a game that I've loved since day one, come to the big screen, whether it was bad or not, I don't quite remember. I guess, all the little critiques as far as the acting, the storytelling and all that. I actually loved Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? I'm going to be on your side with this. I'll let the other two, argue.
Oh,
But-
who's the other
no.
two? We have names.
John
actually.
and
John
Juan.
Hey!
Opposites.
Name.
No,
We
but
went over this.
But no, yeah. I mean, I personally, I love Assassin's Creed, and yeah, it really sucks that they never go into the future story, the present story, I guess. And that's to me one of the more interesting parts of the game, and the fact that they've kind of veered away. And you know what sucks a little bit of history is that the director of the original Assassin's Creed games, he directed Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and Brotherhood. And at that time, he wanted to do just 6 Assassin's Creed games, and what he wanted was for Desmond to learn aspects of each assassin. So he was going to learn aspects of Altair, he was going to learn aspects of Ezio, of Connor, of each assassin, and he was going to become basically the ultimate assassin. And he would then have all the abilities of those assassins, and he would then take down the Templars. So there was a story from beginning to end, but the thing is, Ubisoft completely disagreed with him, and since they own the rights to the franchise, he decided to part ways with him, and that's why the games never touch on the modern day aspect. And even though the movie touched on the modern day aspect, it didn't really move it forward. And I will say that the movie, seeing that kind of action in place, especially during those scenes when they're in Spain, was freaking awesome. Because I think Assassin's Creed, the reason why it's one of the most pretty consistent franchises, I feel, especially critically and commercially, is because the action is super unique, and seeing that action in Spain and stuff, for me as a fan, that was really awesome. That was probably my favorite part of the Assassin's Creed movie, was seeing that action in Spain.
I haven't seen this fucking movie.
Same. Same. High five there, brother.
So I
Never seen
mean,
it.
all I've heard.
seen the games though. The games are they're badass.
See,
'Cause I've seen my brother play them.
See, the
They're
games
awesome, dude.
are great. I think personally, I'm not one of those people to play it. I'm just not a big history buff. I don't know. I can't get into them. But I mean, I've heard the same thing from other Assassin's Creed fans. You know what I mean? A lot of people critically say it was just a shitty movie. There was no, no, I guess they didn't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in this case, the fans got it. And I mean, if the fans get it, then that's all that matters. You know what I mean? So, hats off to them in this case.
Just like those little like inside jokes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense. I never saw I never saw the movie.
Yeah.
Like I mean it did interest me, but I didn't go watch it because I never played the game.
Yeah.
But seeing the gameplay on it and all that, like it's fucking awesome. Because I did play Assassin's Creed 1. I got like maybe halfway through it. I was just like, this game's pretty cool. But then I just drifted, you know.
Yeah, I think what drew me into the entire franchise of Assassin's Creed is just the historical places that everything takes place in. So, the first one takes place in, like, Jerusalem and, all those, like, cities, right? Because Jerusalem was one of them. It was, right?
I know the first one, wasn't it Spain or London?
No, the Assassin's Creed 1 took place... Okay, fact check that. But, but what I like about Assassin's Creed as a whole is just the historical part of it. And also, I guess, the theoretical part of it, too, because I think it's during Revelations when you find that Adam and Eve weren't necessarily the start of the assassins, but fuck, I'm too fucked up to say that. to like find out. But like, what are the gods' names? I can't think of that.
Fucking find out, man.
Dude.
Yeah. Okay.
I know their names.
I mean,
Okay. So like,
he's fucked.
so basically, yeah. Do you remember
There's
doing
no way
certain
I'm gonna
missions
fucking
where
know that.
you would piece together one long clip of Adam and Eve running?
That was part
dude,
2.
Holy shit, dude! Like that, like when Ram was playing that, dude, like it fucking drew me in.
Oh yeah, Ram was the one that
100%.
played
Yeah,
the game.
Ram would play it. My brother Ram actually got me into
Sports.
it more than anything. But I think that's what drew me into the whole Assassin's Creed. And my hope is that if they don't continue, which I don't think they will, because it's been years.
So
It's been to continue the Assassin's Creed movies.
long.
It's been like 2-3 years now, right?
It wasn't profitable, to my understanding.
Well, interestingly enough, Tomb Raider made only about 10 million more than Assassin's Creed 1, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it cost about 10, 20 million more.
Oh, shit.
And they're making a part 2
Of what?
of Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you got my hopes up with Assassin's
I
Creed.
know.
No, but the thing is, if they're making a part 2 to Tomb Raider, like,
There's a chance that-
why? Yeah, I have to imagine that maybe in the future, it sucks that it might not be with Michael Fassbender, who I think is
Yeah.
awesome. But also, just to fact check, part 1 takes place in Masyaf, Jerusalem, Acre, and
you're right.
Damascus.
There you go. Yeah.
And I think too, it's just like to speak to that, like it may just also be just the idea of like there's just not enough fan base at this point. Like, not saying that Assassin's Creed is really low, but just like as far as the appeal to above that, I don't think it's there.
Yeah,
and that's what sucks, because what was really cool about Tomb Raider's marketing, if I have to speak to it, obviously women empowerment was one, and that's a huge thing. But also, like, I think in this case, like, both franchises are doing well, but I think they're just having more pull on Tomb Raider, which is a shame, because if it's as good as a movie as you guys say it is, then it should be given a
I don't
chance.
think it's necessarily that it's a good movie. It's just as a fan of the entire series, right?
It's
from,
awesome to see it on
from
screen.
the first game, all the way up until Odyssey. From being a fan from pretty much day one to finally see it as a live action was, why
Yeah.
I say it's probably one of the best game movies out there.
Ultimately, the reason why any movie fails, especially in marketing stuff, because I think Assassin's Creed had really great marketing. When it fails to make a lot of money, it's just because, unfortunately, the movie isn't that great, Like,
Yeah.
when you look at all the franchises that have become successful, they all have at least one amazing movie. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, with Assassin's Creed, like I said, like as a fan of the video games, I love like seeing the action on screen and all that kind of stuff. But as a movie, I can see why, for somebody who's not a part of the games, the movie
Don't want to watch it.
not only. Well, I think they could, but the movie fails at introducing them to the world in a very interesting way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're not really. It kind of pulls you in, expecting you to know everything about the Assassins and the Templars. And then when they do go into the explanation of the Assassins and the Templars, it's a lot of talking and not enough showing, in my opinion.
Okay, cool. I get that. It's like it's not really there for somebody who
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't
for,
play the games, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of like Game of Thrones, right? So like, by no means am I a book reader just yet. I mean, I read
Probably the most out of our group.
Okay, yeah, fair. But
I haven't read any of it.
I haven't read a complete book, but I definitely look into the lore
Yeah.
and and every aspect of Game of Thrones. So, my thought process as far as what I expect from the show is completely different from somebody who just watches the show, right? In this case, it's the person whoever watches Assassin's Creed is going to be different whether they're a fan or they're just watching the movie of Assassin's Creed, right?
Yeah.
Cool, I get that. I mean, that pretty much wraps up mine. I mean.
John, you have
Here,
your
I'm gonna go back. This
best
is like,
video game movie.
oh, dude, you're ready? Are you ready for this?
shit.
Are you fucking ready for this?
What's up?
The minute you mentioned Jumanji, I was like, dude,
Sonic
I got
the Hedgehog.
no, hell no, hell
Get
no.
the fuck out
That was,
of here.
dude.
Hey,
Did
you-
you
you
see
want-
that? Did you see that meme where they mixed like the coughing cat?
But you want to know
with
something?
this-
You want to know something crazy about Sonic though?
What's up?
The director said that they're gonna remake the design.
Yeah, that's actually
Okay.
pretty cool.
That's crazy though.
Yeah.
Imagine how much that puts back the budget.
A good 50, 60
I
million.
mean,
Are y'all ready?
If you look at the, I'm sorry, real quick
No,
before you
no,
get into
go
it, if you
for
look at the fan made, fucking Sonic the Hedgehog, dude, and then you see, I guess, what the fucking producers made, it's just like, what the fuck
Really?
were you thinking?
Yeah,
It's because
yeah.
he's bow-legged, but he's short. Like what
I-
the fuck?
I think Sonic for sure is a perfect example of where I'm pretty sure the director and the writers and the character designers had a different idea, but the producers were like, no, we got to make him more human. We got to make him look whatever. And now he
make
No,
him fucking hedgehog.
no, more
Yeah.
hedgehog.
Jim Carrey will make that fucking movie.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Honestly,
100%.
yes. I'm honestly still gonna watch it because
Yes.
Yeah.
like no
I think
matter what.
the last 2 seconds of seeing him.
What was it in the trailer where
Become-
he's like, what's your name, General? Nobody cares.
Yeah. So y'all ready for this little,
Yeah, go ahead.
little
Yes,
plot
yes.
twist? I mean, this.
Shit.
I barely realized this.
It's not
'cause I
Star
was
Wars.
not ready for this topic.
Okay.
No, it's not that.
Okay, good.
I was not ready for this topic at all. But the minute he mentioned The Rock, I was thinking of Rampage. The game Rampage. It was just, dude. I just remember playing the video game, the arcade game all
That's
the time.
pretty fair.
The
I actually
arcade
love the game. The
The
game's
arcade
amazing.
game was fun, but the movie was kind of like, it was cool. It was alright.
Dude,
Whatever.
I don't know, man. That gorilla and the way. I mean, the gorilla's personality. I watched the movie recently, maybe
What's
about
his
a month
name?
ago.
George or something?
Yeah.
Like?
Yeah,
it's
George.
It's George, Lisa, and Ralph.
Yeah.
I'll admit. I mean, there's some funny aspects to it.
Yeah.
The gorilla pretends he's dead towards the end, and then like he kind of just wakes up and like he basically tells Rock like just kidding, I'm still alive. Like I guess there's like some cute funny aspects to it, but
I would say
I
this.
don't know what I think about the Rampage, man.
I would say the
Yeah.
strongest part of that movie is the fact that it captures. No,
The
no,
Rock.
no. The
Rock,
fact that
his
it captures.
smoldering look, right?
It captures. I guess what you could say was what you imagined when you were playing Rampage on the arcade,
no, that's
and,
what I was
and how you
looking
saw those
forward
monsters
towards.
destroy the
Yeah.
buildings
That's
and
exactly
stuff.
what I was
Okay.
looking for.
And that's probably the strongest.
And to be fair, Lisa looked fucking badass.
Oh,
Yeah, I did.
Like
Come on,
she
yeah.
did.
I mean, that's where I
Like,
saw the movie just because
But,
of the action.
going into the movie, I was like, dude, I just want to see some fucking crazy ass animals fucking fuck shit up, eat humans and shit. I mean, they're not gonna do that.
It would have been cool to just see them
Fucking
toss
tossing people
just
up,
toss them
just
up
eating
and
a-
fucking eating them.
You know,
But also when when you
You punch
die
a
and they
building,
turn
you get
into
a pizza.
humans.
you know, it's interesting you bring that one up because I feel like with the gorilla, they definitely got the design down really good. But
And
with
everything else was just like, what the fuck?
well, yeah, because you see the wolf and you're like,
What the fuck?
A
the
wolf with wings?
no, yeah, and
He
now
always had wings.
no, but not only that,
Yeah.
The wolf had wings in the beginning?
Yeah.
he did. He
But-
did.
but
it
the
was
thing-
fucking weird. I don't know why.
but the thing is, the wolf
weird.
looks like a monster instead of like an actual
Yeah, he looks like a
wolf.
monster, yeah.
You know, like
He does
like
look
like
like
a
a
dire
Definitely
wolf.
did have like a mutation thing going
Yeah,
on for sure.
I mean, how awesome would it have been to have seen like a dire wolf type of wolf? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, okay.
With fur and everything.
See,
Like,
like the
this
reason
wolf
why,
was like a
it really
little
did come
skinny
up though, is
looking-
because there was a friend of mine. He actually had the arcade game in his house. We would play it like countless hours. And just
my
back and-
uncle has one
it's
too.
fucking fun, dude.
Dude.
I actually love Rampage.
And
Rampage
it's
is
funny
a
though
great
because we
game.
just like throwing like endless quarters just to like endless lives just to go through the whole fucking game. We'd be there for like a whole.
But yeah, despite
3
the action,
hours.
movie shit.
Yeah, it's garbage. It's garbage. It's garbage. But it was
I
just like.
definitely, I mean, I think the Rock isn't, the worst actor because Albie's gonna give me shit and we still haven't settled this. But I mean, I love Skyscraper,
You love
I love dude,
you love
Skyscraper.
Skyscraper.
Dude, Skyscraper
Guys,
is a good
it's
fucking
about
movie.
to get a motherfucking mic drop
no,
up
no,
in
no,
here.
no.
What's skyscraper?
Dude, it's with like The Rock.
This is about to go down, dude.
It's The Rock being an amputee, but he's not really an amputee in
Oh
real
yeah,
life. so-
yeah, I saw that one. Dude, that did not interest me. So
Dude, no, shut the fuck up. You have not seen the fucking movie, right? So
I've seen the fucking movie.
No, I'm talking about everybody else here, man. What I'm trying to fuck, dude. I can't believe we got into this. No. It's because
There's no filter here, man.
I liked the movie because it was enjoyable, right? I watched it one day before going into work, and dude, I was fucking drawn in, dude. I was like, dude,
Fucking had a hard
this
on all
movie
day.
is
Drawn
dude,
in?
it's a
What the
fun movie, dude. What's wrong with it, Albie? What the fuck is wrong with it?
Dude, okay, wait. Oh, I really want to hear this rebuttal because you like fucking Hobbs and Shaw and Fast and the Furious. So, let's go,
Tell me
motherfucker.
what's wrong with
Okay, so
Skyscraper.
what's wrong with Skyscrapers? Is that so a lot of movies that know that they're going to be shit and stuff, they decide to have fun with it. Skyscraper knows it's going to be shit because it can't be better than Die Hard, especially the fact that the director is not as good as the director who did Die Hard. And it takes itself so seriously, which I'm okay with, you know, because it wants to endear you to the character of The Rock. He lost his leg.
It has nothing to do with his fucking leg, way.
Dude, the whole
Dude,
movie
it
has
doesn't have
10 minutes
nothing to do with
dedicated
it.
to how he lost his leg. You know, and
So you're against amputees or what?
Dude,
no.
Fucked up.
No, you see what I'm going
Fucked up human being, dog.
what I'm going towards is the fact that the movie manipulates you in a way that is super freaking obvious. Obviously, movies and TV shows are inherently manipulative
I mean, losing
because
his
they're
legs didn't
supposed.
make the movie for me, though, dude. It's just the overall, like, you know.
But
just
you
like
see, even
the,
when
the
you go-
struggle of a huge, like the biggest like skyscraper building in the world burning down, and I mean, I get it.
Just
One
watch Die
fucking-
Hard.
No, shut the fuck up. One guy, one guy trying to save his family, right? I get it. You
Die
know,
Hard.
Like, fuck you.
No, I'm just like, okay,
Fuck you
keep
and
going,
your
keep going,
fucking
keep going,
Die
keep
Hard.
going.
Dude, okay, first of all, Die Hard was not about saving a family, and it was one man, one cop. Do not ruin this fucking line,
dude, and
and do not insult Die Hard.
Dude, and with this, it
It's-
wasn't The Rock who saved everybody, man. Like, it really
insult
wasn't.
Die
It was like the work of the police officers on the bottom, who and his wife, who helped get that tablet that turned all the systems back up. So look, fuck, man, oh, dude.
No, keep going,
No,
keep
no,
going,
no,
keep
no.
going.
It's because
Because I'm interested.
No, you're saying
that you
don't, no,
love the movie.
Yeah, I fucking love it, dude. It was fun. It was a fun fucking watch, man.
But you see, to me, the what doesn't make it fun is the fact that because it takes itself so seriously.
Because
like,
he's missing his legs.
No. It's not just because he's missing his legs, but like even in the scenes where it's like, "Oh, honey, don't worry, I'm saving you." I'm just like, I don't care. Just come on, get on with the action. And the reason I don't care is because they don't have good enough dialogue to pull you into the character. You know what I mean?
Man, I don't know what the fuck you look for,
Okay,
dude. But
No, I'm not looking for any. Look,
No,
for example, if
you
you
obviously are.
no.
How
If
does
you
Fast
go,
and the Furious have better dialogue? That's fucking bullshit.
okay.
hey,
yeah,
no,
okay.
that's true.
Alright,
That's
so-
true. Fast and the Furious has shitty ass dialogue. Almost one of the worst like pieces of dialogue in almost any film. But with Fast and the Furious,
So it makes it better than Skyscraper?
what makes it better than Skyscraper is the
Because it has
fact.
cars.
No. The fact is that they're willing to have fun with it, and Skyscraper never
Skyscraper
is.
has fucking... Dude, he's hanging on the side of the building
Yeah,
by his
yeah.
fucking prosthetic leg, dude.
And Fast and the Furious, they're on a freaking
can't
plane.
feel it.
They're on a freaking plane that goes on and on and on and on and on to the
That
point
doesn't
where
make it fun, though.
That
doesn't
does
that's
make
fucking
it-
stupid. What fucking runway is that long, dude?
That's
You can-
why.
No,
That's what makes
why.
it so
No,
fun.
no,
It's so
no,
terrible.
No,
It's
bro.
so fucking ridiculous.
Y'all are getting too close with the
Fucking
mic.
stupid, man.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
okay,
That's what
okay.
makes it fun.
So
Hey, so Pokemon 2000.
no. My final thing is that
Yeah, let's do the final on
yeah,
this
for
one.
final. If you think that, you know, Fast and the Furious is better for whatever fucking reason, man.
Of all fucking movies.
Of all fucking movies,
The
man.
only reason I would say Fast and Furious is better is because
Because Paul Walker died and you feel bad.
that's a poignant moment. It's a poignant moment. It's a poignant moment. Dude, it's a poignant moment. I have to give it that. But the reason Fast and Furious is better is because it knows that what it's doing is ridiculous and just wanting to have fun to the point where now you see Hobbs and Shaw. It's going all out.
But what is not fun and exciting about a guy hanging from the side of a building by his prosthetic legs that's about to fucking come off and, you know, he's
Well,
gonna meet his death?
Minus the prosthetic leg, Die Hard did it better.
Oh my god, dude.
Completely different movies, though.
They're
both picking up.
Even The Rock has said in interviews. Even The Rock has said in interviews that one of his biggest inspirations for the movie was Die Hard, because obviously they're stuck in a building and he needs to save his family. Now in Die Hard, he doesn't save his family, but he wants to save the building.
Yeah, but in Die Hard, he has both his legs.
Okay, so if Die
I'm
Hard,
just kidding. I don't even know where I'm going with this.
I mean, what if Die Hard didn't exist?
Oh,
I think your problem is that you're comparing it to Die Hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, what if Die Hard didn't exist? How would you feel about this film?
Even if Die Hard didn't exist, man, I mean, there's movies that do it a lot better. I mean, you can go. Hold on. I'm not done.
Hence why the Mass Effect thing I was just saying, because people do it better, right?
But that's the whole point. That's the whole point. If a movie now if a movie doesn't in the grand scale of all movies that have been made, it's hard for any movie to come out to be better than the previous one. So, for example, it's hard for Skyscraper to be better. It's hard for Skyscraper to be better than Die Hard, right? But the fact that Die Hard is willing to have, like, say, more fun with the premise of everything. I mean, even Bruce Willis, whenever he's stuck in the vents, he's like, "Oh yeah, you said we're just gonna have it's gonna be a fun day, just have a few little laughs." You know, like, you can realize, you can see that the character and the writers are having fun with the premise of a cop being stuck in a building trying to save the entire building. Wow, Skyscraper, I feel, and it sucks because I think The Rock is a very charismatic actor. Never makes any use of that. It makes use of it. Yeah, I mean, that's why Jumanji is fun, because The Rock is very charismatic.
All right,
I'm just saying.
Okay, no, I give you the fucking win, okay?
Whatever. Fast and the Furious is better than Skyscraper, so
it's
we
way
leave
better
it
than
at that.
So, just to wrap that shit up.
Look.
No, hold on.
started
It's
with
done.
Rampage.
It's done, Albie. You won. You won. Fast and Furious is all superior, and we will praise them later.
Hobbs and Shaw's gonna be amazing.
Hobbs and Shaw will make the most money in the world ever.
It's gonna be the best film of the year.
Yeah.
Man.
There's gonna be a street that never
guys,
ends.
he's fucked up.
Okay.
Anyway, just to end this conversation, in my personal opinion, I think everyone agreed that Carlos won this round with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah, hands down. Yeah, because at this point, I think everyone, as far as like movie, like video game film,
Cool.
yeah, mine was garbage too. So
But let us know what you all thought.
yes, let us know.
Did you really think I won, or do you think fucking Jumanji was better?
And go ahead and reprise another episode, and let's bring this argument back up of Skyscraper and Fast and Furious, because this is fucking great. So now we're going back to another beer break. This is beer break number 2.
Number deuce.
Lego.
Salute.
Sorry, I was already fucking starting, dude.
God damn it, I can't do it.
I'm an alcoholic.
You know
At
what's
a
one
certain
thing
extent. At a certain extent.
you know what's one thing that hurts me?
Oh, guys, holy
It's the fact
shit.
that I never drink soda and stuff, so I'm not used to carbonation and shit.
That makes sense. No, it really does.
Yeah, I guess it does make
It
sense.
makes sense.
I mean, I rarely drink
Shut
soda
up.
myself, but I mean, he's got it. He's got
I
it.
never drink soda.
Oh, B. No.
Round 2.
No shit.
Where's the growler? I'm gonna fill my...
Dude, actually, yes. Get the growler. Guys, we got a growler out of Busted Sandal in San Antonio, and it's fucking good.
Like that big ass he mentioned that to me. Look,
Damn, dude. Fucking
that's
Albie.
right there.
Albie's fucking dying. Hey, you don't know how to pour beer, bro. He proved it. Man.
Carlos sucks at pouring
He
beer.
basically said, "I'm never invited again."
No shit.
He's like,
No
"Fuck you, dude." That's a growler. Those are
That's
like
the
banned or
growler.
something, right? From where like you can't serve those.
Well, technically, we just don't have any, because
Oh, they can't sell them.
if you do liquor, you can't sell beer.
You can't sell the growler.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Okay.
exactly what it is.
That's a growler.
Are you okay, Carlos?
Yep, that's the growler. No, we're good. We're golden. Golden, pony boy. Cool. Well, yeah, let's do that.
Dude, that one was pretty fucking good, dude.
So that's definitely the end to our beer break. Thank you for joining us. Now on to our next discussion. We're back from beer break number 2. Clearly drinking a lot and having a great time. Our next topic is best action movie in honor of John Wick 3 coming out this May. So I'm going to have John start this off.
Well, I'm not John Wick 3, but I mean, I am John. This is not a crazy action film. It's suspenseful with action.
Yeah, there you go.
Law-abiding citizen.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty
actually,
epic. 'Cause
that's a
it's-
great film, actually.
It's
Let
suspenseful.
him explain.
Well, don't let me explain. No, come on.
Motherfucker, I'm agreeing.
Come on, dude. Okay, if you're all agreeing with me, you are going to help me with
That's
this.
a
'cause
good movie.
I
I've
think
never
at this
seen
point we know that we're all fucked up.
We're not that fucked up.
Wait,
A little bit.
Because we're all hardcore.
Law-abiding citizen.
Law-abiding
It's
citizen
the
with Gerard
definition-
Butler.
Isn't the definition of a law-abiding citizen is somebody who follows? Oh shit! Nobody can hear me. The definition, I think, fact check me right now. A law-abiding citizen means that you follow the law. That's like the basic.
So you abide by the law.
You abide
Dude,
by.
okay, we're not fucking pulling.
We're
out
not going off
Tomatoes
Rotten
scores.
Tomato
Yeah.
scores.
I'm just.
I mean, just,
I bet your film sucks.
just to kind of piggyback off of this.
Oh.
Wait,
Sorry, you go.
motherfucker.
Yeah, right? He's getting all fucking rowdy because he could chug a
I'll
beer.
just throw the topic out and you all just fucking
can't
fight.
really
No, I
speak
mean,
on this because I've never seen the movie.
You never seen the movie?
What?
Well, then you can't fucking say shit and not pull up a fucking. Yeah, no. the
I'm just gonna check my Metacritic score, and that's what I'm gonna judge it on, because that's what I do, because I'm a fucking snob.
Because most movies that suck have sucky scores.
No.
I
Okay,
can't even
what?
speak because I'm fucking drunk.
Okay, so I think the reason why I like Law Abiding Citizen, or why I think it's a good, action film, is that, throughout most of the story, all the shit is happening, right? While this one guy is in prison.
In prison.
Nobody can figure out how the hell is this motherfucker doing it while he's in prison, right?
And everything's happening left and right. And they're like, he's in fucking jail. We can't have like.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody can piece it together, right? So there's all these, like tragedies happening. Well, not tragedies, but all these there's shit happening, and nobody can piece it together until later on in the film. You see that this guy has like a secret tunnel or something that he's building that he basically uses to get in and out.
Yeah,
Of jail,
it's
right?
basically a channels of tunnels that, leads him to do what he's doing now.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's what I like most about the movie. Gerard Butler. I think this is like the movie, the second movie I saw him, in after 300 Spartans of 300.
Sparta!
Yeah. So whatever. You know what I fucking mean.
This motherfucker getting real fucking cocky.
Anyways, I think Law Abiding Citizen for a long time was one of my favorite, action flicks. I don't know if y'all have anything to it.
No, man. I mean, it's a solid film. I personally, I think the one I'm going to bring up, which I hope everyone's watched here today, is a great film. I mean, I think actions is an interesting genre because, I mean, I guess it just depends how you're going to base it off of, whether it's the story of the actual action. Because, I mean, there's a lot of good films out there that I could mention right off the top of my head, but I don't want to take anyone's, film away. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid film. I mean, yes, Rotten Tomatoes, fuck them. They're super shitty about actually being fucking movie critics, and I don't care about that. I care about watching an action film that entertains me, and this one indeed entertained me.
I've never seen Law Abiding Citizen, so I don't really have much to say. But
Good.
all I'm gonna say is
Good.
that the only movie I've ever seen of Gerard Butler that I enjoyed, and I've seen a lot of
White
Gerard
House
Butler.
down.
No, I've seen a lot of Gerard Butler movies. Is 300, and I think he's an overused trope in terms of action movies. So,
The Rocket.
so just seeing what this movie looks
Dude,
to
if
be
he
about,
brings
I
up
definitely
another
don't-
Rock movie for his action
definitely
movie,
not gonna.
I'm going to be pissed.
It's funny. People are gonna be surprised. Trust me.
I hope so.
But I'm definitely not
Because
gonna.
considering your taste lately.
I definitely don't. Yeah, I'm not interested in. It's funny. You guys have all brought up movies. This is probably one of the only movies that I still don't have any interest in watching after you've talked about it.
Well,
The story sounds really cool though.
but just watch
pretty
it.
good.
Just watch it. Come back to me, and you'll be like, John, it's fucking badass. It's fucking badass.
I'd be like, John,
It was okay.
That's actually probably pretty accurate.
And then John unfollowed. So I mean, that was my movie. So I don't know who's gonna follow up on that, because
Let's
I
go,
mean, it's
Carlos.
pretty shit.
I mean, so the thing with mine is that we kind of, Juan mentioned that there's a third part coming out, John Wick 3. But honestly, probably one of the best action movies I've ever seen is John Wick 2. I mean, John Wick 1 and 2, but I personally enjoyed John Wick 2 just a little bit more.
Yeah.
The thing that makes John Wick is just the what is it, the fucking, like, I don't want to say shooting scenes because that's not what I'm fucking looking for, but like
I mean, that's
The club scene.
No, I mean, yeah, the gun battles. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
one in particular, is
He never misses.
No,
Dude,
never.
John Wick is a fucking beast, man. He's a beast, and I am what?
What,
I
here
have
it comes,
to-
Here it comes.
No, I have to agree.
intervene.
I have to agree with Carlos.
Oh, really?
John Wick 2 is one of the best action movies.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
It's actually one of the ones I was thinking of. But now that you've set that one for sure, I'm going to choose something else.
yeah.
But yeah, John Wick 2 is amazing, dude.
There's a particular scene where he's fighting in, like, it's like a club or or I mean, I had the soundtrack on my phone because I was actually listening to it before we started this, but man, it's that soundtrack combined with all the gun action, dude, that just fucking, it's amazing, man. Like, I don't think ever, watching John Wick, I was ever disappointed with, just the overall action, dude.
It's
No,
with
yeah.
the actor. It's Common, right? The actor Common. Well, he's a rapper. Like, he's an artist. Like, his name's Common.
I don't know.
It's
I was about to say I've never.
John Wick
John
or
Wick. No, it's John Wick versus the other guy, the black guy.
I mean, Common is only a little part of part 2. John Wick is almost against a whole kind of, I guess you could say, faction.
Carlos was talking about the club scene, though.
Yeah, that's true. The club scene is against Common.
If I play the soundtrack, which I don't know how great it'll sound if I play it, right here, right
Probably
now.
not good.
it
I would
probably won't.
assume.
we probably get copyrighted if you do.
Oh, that is very true. But I mean, anyways, watch John Wick 2. Look for that club scene, and I mean, I think that scene just pretty much makes the entire movie as far as action, and just overall gunfights.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on this one. So no, I think John Wick's an excellent choice. I have yet to see a John Wick film, and I'm gonna. I haven't, unfortunately.
So
It's 'cause
why is it an excellent choice if you've never seen it?
Because I'm well aware of what good action is, motherfucker.
Are you?
You're gonna
I'm not
know
sure.
with my fucking choice.
I'm not sure.
So get the fuck out of here, Fast and the Furious. I don't give a fuck about your opinion of an action film right now.
That's all I said.
It's an entertaining movie. Doesn't make it a good action film.
John Wick.
Well, you just never seen
John Wick.
though.
Motherfucker, can I finish?
The fact that everything starts, so John Wick loses his shit because they kill his puppy, dude. It's just like, how much?
Greatest motivator of all time.
Yeah, how much more could I relate? Somebody who has 3 cats and 2 dogs. Like, if any motherfucker killed any of my pets,
Where's my knife?
You
you
thought you were gonna become John
you
Wick?
bet your ass we'd be fucking John Wick on your ass, whether I fucking die or not.
I already know Albie's choice.
Oh,
I
wait,
just guessed it.
Guessing game.
Be wrong.
Guessing game.
So guess it. Okay, what's your guess?
The latest Mission Impossible.
What's your guess?
I'm right.
I didn't say anything. What's your guess?
Oh, we're still on the John Wick topic, so.
I mean, we already know John Wick's great.
All right. So
Yeah.
what was your choice?
My choice?
Okay. No,
Okay.
go for it.
The Professional. Have y'all not fucking seen that film?
Okay, hold on. I gotta search.
Dude, it's Nat.
I watched
Oh,
it once.
okay.
I think
First,
I'm just gonna walk out right now because
fuck
sorry.
you. That's a
I'm
great
sorry,
film,
dude.
motherfucker.
I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry.
Fuck you.
I let you down. I let
Yeah,
you down.
You saw Law-Abiding Citizen, but you did not see The Professional.
To be honest, the
I mean,
Professional,
I've seen, dude.
that's all.
Is this late to talk about it now? The Equalizer. Oh my. Okay, sorry.
It's
No.
okay.
Yeah.
no es tu turno, way.
Yeah, my turn's over.
Okay,
But I mean,
I mean, first of all, how the fuck have none of y'all seen this?
I've seen it.
I mean,
I've seen The
It's Natalie Portman
Yeah.
with I don't know Leon the I don't know what the fuck, but
So-
this guy
Professional.
he basically undertakes
John Reno.
yeah he basically undertakes fucking Natalie Portman because Natalie Portman ends up being an orphan
And he plays Leon.
and yeah he plays Leon and the whole point of the movie is that like basically they're out to get him and the way this whole fucking the last like 25 to 30 minutes of this film is so fucking beautiful because not only does, spoiler alert, he sacrificed himself to save Natalie Portman, but the motherfucker, the action sequences, what he does is the reason, like, the transporter was created, was the reason, like, Hitman, like, became a thing, and like a lot of that, the way that transitioned.
Hitman as a movie or is it game franchise?
No, just kind of like the embodiment of a hitman in action movies. Like,
We're not talking about games anymore, Albie.
Yeah, we're off games.
No, you just said Hitman, and I'm thinking about.
No, not the game. But though the game's good. But point is, like they really embodied like what that person is. And here's the thing: it also had depth to it because the fact that he cared for this child that wasn't even his. And it was it's a crazy movie that I fucking fell in love with because it is so fucking good at what it does. Guys, that was Ginger, and she just agreed with the professional.
What do you?
You like the professional?
That's our special guest, everybody.
What's your favorite movie?
No.
Yeah.
I think she likes cats and dogs, bro. Cats and dogs.
Hotel for dogs.
I used to watch that
Hotel for
movie a
pets.
But The Professional is my choice because it's a great film.
I think that's a movie I gotta watch.
Yeah, no,
Same,
for real, you
same.
should.
Same, I have to watch that movie.
Last time I checked, it was on Netflix, but it might not be on there. But I will find it for y'all, and it's a great film.
I've watched it though.
It's a very good like old school action flick, and if there's anything I speak to John Wick, it really carries a lot of what this film did, and that's why I agree with John Wick because out of what I've seen, as far as like clips and just what people talk about, is definitely true to the action film. Though I did have a second that I will mention later.
Oh, you can do that.
Yeah, so Juan guessed it. I mean, my what I think is the best action film of all time is Mission Impossible Fallout, which is the latest Mission Impossible movie. And shut up. Mission Impossible. Look, you know what's so funny about Mission Impossible? I mean, you're missing out, dude. I mean,
Well, actually, I'm on Mission Impossible 3 because I've seen the first two.
Mission Impossible 2 and 3 are okay, but 4, 5, 6 are really good. Yeah. But Mission Impossible 6, like, what makes that movie so good? I mean, not only is it, it's interesting, but I did like a top 10 best films of the year. Mm-hmm. I actually chose Mission Impossible Fallout as my best film last year. Yeah. I thought it was one of the best.
The best.
Yeah, the best. I chose it as the best. So, Mission Impossible Fallout, the reason I think it's one of the best action films of all time is because, so there's many aspects to it, but one aspect definitely is Tom Cruise's dedication to his craft, which is another reason why I love John Wick. Keanu Reeves is very dedicated to his craft as well. And you can see it in the action scenes because there's certain camera angles and certain shots that you cannot take in an action film unless you have that actor,
like dedicate.
And have that actor actually do that stunt, But one of the things that makes Mission Impossible Fallout one of the best action films is the fact that its story is really strong. The fact that Ethan Hunt at this point of the story, like even when you see the trailer, like it's everything that he's ever done is coming.
Starting from the trailer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just because the trailer,
So sarcastic.
the trailer.
Starting from the trailer.
The trailer makes a point of it, but the fact that you see that everything that Ethan Hunt has ever done in his past, whether good or bad, is coming back to haunt him. And this is one of those things where it's almost like a ghost story. It's like everything that he's ever done comes back to haunt him because what he's done has been it's been on a gray scale of whether it's good or bad. You know what I mean? And so in this case, you have this villain who completely despises everything Ethan Hunt stands for and is willing to destroy everything that he stands for. And the fact that the action not only doubles as amazing set pieces, but actually moves the story forward along, which I think John Wick does really well, is what makes it such a great action film. And for me personally, like I said, last year, it was one of the best movies of the year.
Yeah.
I don't even know Tom Cruise is still making movies.
Yeah,
Dude, Tom Cruise has been making movies for a long time, but that has nothing to do with what is best action film.
Honestly, I didn't see this film, but out of what I saw, like little snips, obviously working at Alamo and how stressful that fucking shit is really like every time I looked at that screen when that movie played, it looked like something interesting, and it sparked my interest. And
Yeah, I guess I can give it that.
and
honestly.
and that's something like, again, I need to see this film because honestly, the Mission Impossible series and franchise itself wasn't necessarily consistent. I mean, when you go past, I think 3 to 5, it felt really weird because 3 wasn't that good, to my understanding. 5 was okay, and then 4 was just don't mess with it. Or, I don't know if I'm getting that wrong. I might be getting that wrong, but
I would say Mission Impossible 1 is really awesome.
Yeah,
Mission Impossible
I agree.
2 is the one that goes a little bit. Mission Impossible 3 is kind of like.
Hence
Mission Impossible 4 kicks it back into high gear. Mission Impossible 5 is amazing. That's why they brought the director of Part 5 to do Part 6.
okay. Well, mind you, again, inconsistencies. And I think that's why I need to give this film a chance before I could really, really rate it. Because I know every time I looked at that screen, something interesting was happening.
Same. So
For
like,
sure.
I think the one thing I respect about Mission Impossible and Tom Cruise himself is that pretty much every Mission Impossible movie, he doesn't have a stunt double, right? He is doing his own stunts.
So
He's hanging
had,
onto the plane, right?
he had-
Do I have the right movie?
So no, that when he's hanging on to the plane, that's Part 5.
That's fine.
But
Even I know
Okay,
it.
but yeah,
that
franchise.
That franchise in general.
so so the thing is,
So yes.
and for the first few movies,
So yes.
he did have a stunt double, but starting from Mission Impossible 4, they pretty much got rid of his stunt double.
So yes, he is hanging out from the plane.
Yeah, he is.
Basically, yeah. And in 5, yeah.
Okay, cool.
He is.
I mean, I think that's like one of the things I respect most about the movie. Given I haven't seen probably a single Mission Impossible.
Wow, really? Not a single one?
I
So on
the
first two.
yeah. See, I saw 1, 2, 4. I don't remember seeing 3, and I missed 5 and 6. So I saw 3 of that franchise, and
5 and 6 are the best.
yeah, I haven't seen those.
I haven't seen it at all, so retopic next time. Well, not next time because I don't know if I'll watch them all by then, but we'll definitely come back to this topic eventually.
Yeah, I think what sucks is like we just haven't seen this
like,
film
well,
in general.
again, it's like
I wish I saw that film.
Movies
I
are
was-
like a lot better than video games. Like the older movies get, you can still watch movies. You can still watch movies. I mean, the older
You can still
video.
play games.
You can, but I
couldn't
mean,
play Mass Effect.
I mean,
I
can still
no,
play
hey,
Pac-Man.
that's what I'm kind of getting at. It's
I
like,
can still play Pac-Man.
You can still. You can.
And I can still play Tetris.
I could play Galaxy
I can
all day.
still watch like old
So,
movies
I mean,
like
I-
Gangs of New York and stuff like
Dude,
that. Hey, come on, yeah, you know that
fuck,
movie.
why don't we say
Exactly.
that?
Dude,
So,
Tetris and
I'm just
Galaga
saying,
ship
I
over.
can still see
I know,
old
but it's
movies, but
Gangs of New
I'm
York.
just trying to explain like
Dude, there will be blood.
movies like these, like Mission Impossible, all these like movies that we're talking about. We can watch them. It doesn't matter how old they are, we can still watch them. But in a video game, like I'm trying to play Borderlands 1. It's too late.
That's
too late.
That's honestly. That's,
You know, it's
that's a
funny that
different
you say
discussion
Borderlands.
for me. That's
It's
a
funny.
different discussion
It's
for me.
funny that you say
Hey,
Borderlands
that's
1,
a
but
good topic.
that one just got
Yeah.
re-released on PS4.
Yeah.
Borderlands 1
Wait,
got.
say it again.
Well, I mean, does that make it good?
Honestly,
It's definitely playable, and yeah, it is
I mean,
good.
okay, I guess playable.
as far as
I mean, not only that,
playable,
but
but
I
I
mean,
mean,
when you
no one's
when
gonna
you
be
start
playing it anymore.
when you start talking about Borderlands, let me just put it out there. All the games out there that are doing looter shooter stuff have still not caught up to Borderlands, even Borderlands 1.
Dude, are you fucking kidding me,
that,
dude?
that's actually a fucking
Don't
great
fucking-
topic.
Don't get into the
That's a
fucking
great
division.
fucking topic.
They have not caught up to Borderlands.
Oh my
I'm just saying. Well, okay, like first, one thing I wanted to say:
my fault.
the reason
I
Mission
brought it up.
Impossible
You did.
Fallout is
Oh,
great
my God.
is because it has great action scenes and because the story actually calls to the past. But yes, Borderlands.
It's not better than Division 2.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's
yeah,
not.
it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Yeah, it is. The reason it's better is because the Division 2. The problem with the Division 2, which I love the Division 2. I really do like the game.
I'm playing it with them right now.
It's fun. It's
great.
fun. But the
Honestly, it's a
problem
fun
with the
game.
Division
Yeah,
2
it's a fun game.
is the fact
But I
that
can only play it with them.
for me, at least, when I was playing Borderlands 1, while the AI starts out stupid, just like the
Yeah.
Division 2,
Repetitive.
Yeah.
when you
I mean, it
challenge
feels a little
yourself
bit
and
better.
you take on
Like, I
quests,
never played Division 1, but yeah.
when you take on
Sorry,
quests
side convo.
that are higher than your level, it actually challenges you not because the enemies have more hit points, but because the enemies are using tactics that they go beyond just flanking you. You know what I mean? And the reason Division 2 The reason the Division 2 falls flat a little bit is because the loot drops, unfortunately, as great as they are, as they can be, they're not as good as the Borderlands.
Dude, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Dude, I played Borderlands 2 with this motherfucker, dude.
I'm gonna cut this off because this is a great episode later.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but honestly, like, just to speak to what Albie said, that's bullshit. Because their AIs are not stronger than Division 2.
We are saving this for later.
But we are saving it for later.
Than Division 2.
They are. He just turned into fucking gremlins after you feed him past midnight.
Albie sucks at Division 2. That's why he has a problem with it.
That's not why. I have like 90 platinum, so no, that's not why. No, I'm just
He
saying
has
that's
like
not-
18.
No, I do not.
So the number of platinums doesn't make you good at a game. I'm just saying.
It's like
So-
the hours you
so
masturbate is
you-
how tired your hand is.
No. Most platinums for games,
Hey,
let me just say,
so-
let me just put it out there, is due to skill. Because it's like,
Look,
beat so many missions on a hard
it's
difficulty.
fine.
Or beat this, or...
But how does this translate into the Division 2?
Look.
No, I'm just saying that...
ruined this- I
No,
ruined
it
the
does
topic.
translate because you
really
were
did.
saying because
I
I
did
suck
ru-
at the Division 2.
Look,
I don't
card.
suck at
Albie,
the Division 2.
okay,
I really don't.
Hey, I ruined the
That's
topic.
debatable.
I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off.
Look, I'll just say like my last little piece. Like I did ruin the topic because I was just really trying to say that like I've never seen any of the Mission Impossible movies. Whatever movie that you didn't say. Hold on, wait,
Dude,
hold on.
I mean,
Wait,
that,
hold on.
that's
Like,
why we gotta...
I'm just saying, like,
take a minute.
I didn't see any of the Mission Impossible movies, whatever. I was just trying to compare it to games, right? Saying like, I'd rather see old movies because they're still enjoyable, rather than, playing a video game that's like.
Though that's an argument in itself, because I don't agree with that entirely.
One last thing
But-
I was just gonna say.
For certain games.
Exactly, for certain games.
I care about Borderlands story way more than Division.
Well, that's
Way more.
okay. I just
I
give
could
them
give a
right.
shit
Hey,
about the Division
that's fair.
story.
You gotta hold this conversation because this is like another episode next week for sure.
Cool. Completely sidebar.
But
Yeah.
okay, just to wrap up our best action film. I think the problem with this topic is that no one's seen every film, which is the problem. So I want definitely the viewers out there to the viewers to definitely decide that. And also, guys, let's go fucking watch these movies. Like, let's find out for ourselves
we're
at this
all
point.
gonna have a little date together.
Because at this point, we all saw Law-Abiding Citizen except Albie.
There goes the brain. He's gonna go pay the water bill.
But yeah, I'm totally gonna wrap that topic off, and we're gonna go to our next beer break. Hey guys, this is beer break number 3. It is the last one. Obviously, we've had some fun here tonight, so enjoy the rest of this podcast as we go on. Clearly, these guys aren't gonna make it, and it's fucking awesome.
I'll be okay.
Cheers to that.
I'll be okay. I'm definitely drunk for sure.
Toast, motherfuckers.
Sorry, I drank a little bit. Oh, wait.
I couldn't even tap Carl's glass. That's how drunk I am. Dude, the combination. It's like 1,000 spikes going down my throat.
But you told me how much dick you suck.
Shut up.
Alright, let's get this shit done.
Well, we gotta wait for Albie because he's the one that slows us down a little bit.
Could not do that.
Could you hear yourself?
Yeah. That was weird. Oh my god. Sounds like you're,
You're breaking.
Let me drink.
I mean, can you? Yep. Hey guys, welcome back to Beer Break. We're here about to wrap up. We're about to talk about. Oh man, everyone's fucked up at this point. We're about to talk about what we're really interested coming out in May as far as film is concerned. So I'll just go ahead and start. Fuck it.
What are you interested in, Juan?
Personally, since I am a huge music fan, and I think more than anything, Rami Malek did not deserve the Oscar because he did not actually sing.
You have not seen the movie.
Are you telling me you're racist?
And
No.
it's because the history was not true.
Okay, but you have not seen the entire
Regardless, the history was not true, and that bothers me.
Okay, get to the movie. And let's
Point
see if
is,
Elton John's
Rocket
history is true.
Man, it for the most part, out of what I've seen from the trailers, yeah.
I mean, from what we saw from the Bohemian Rhapsody trailers, I mean, it was pretty true. So.
No, it wasn't.
All you
mean,
gotta say
even
is
from the
Rami.
trailer, you can tell
All you
it
gotta
was-
say is Rami Malek lip synced to the songs, and Aaron Edgerton sang the songs.
Are you
So
100%
bam!
certain of that?
Wait. He's
Oh,
the
man.
guy that
Okay,
played
well-
Eggsy in fucking Kingsman, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But point is, this movie looks really great. I think obviously he should be nominated for an Oscar considering he could actually sing.
Yep.
And also the fact that like at least as far as like I know Elton John, the story so far looks real through the trailers. Carlos is correct. I don't know how true that is, but I will see when I see the film. But that is definitely the number one pick in my book. March 31st, I will watch Rocket Man over.
March?
Oh, March, what the fuck? May 31st, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
May 31st.
Sorry, May 31st, I will watch Rocket Man.
And on a more interesting note, Bohemian Rhapsody was not willing to delve.
You
into,
don't have
hold
to
on.
go into this.
No. It's really quick. It's really
Here,
quick.
here we go. Rotten Tomatoes.
No, it's very quick. No.
Rotten Tomatoes himself.
No, it's just Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't willing to delve into the gay life of Queen, and I think that's very important to the representation of everybody who's homosexual. And the fact that Rocket Man has stated that they are going to delve into the life of Elton John thoroughly just seems to be a more genuine movie, and I definitely do think Rocket Man is going to be better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Did you steal this review off of Rotten Tomatoes?
No, I did not actually.
He
My
took
brother
it out of
watched-
Metacritic.
No, actually, my
Metacritic?
my brother watched the movie and he told
Or
me.
IGN?
No, my brother watched
No,
the
no.
movie and he told me.
Game Informer.
IMDb.
My
IMDb.
brother-
Wait. I know. Counter-Strike.
No. My brother watched the movie and he told me that they don't really touch on it, and it's disappointing.
And see, that's my biggest problem. Though I'm not going to go into this discussion.
Yeah.
Point is, I want to see Rocket Man, and I think it's going to be a great film because,
Taron
I mean,
Egerton.
also like the fact that like Elton John's a fucking god. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a fucking god, and I can't wait to see them portray him
I mean,
as they should.
To be fair, Stephanie's super excited about this movie too. And I mean, we see Rob Stark, in the future.
Supposedly he's gonna have a sex scene with Taron Egerton.
Ooh, fuck.
Dude, no.
Get ready, Stephanie.
Supposedly it's
I'm
in
not ready for that. No,
it's
thank
in
you, dude.
supposedly
No,
it's
thank you.
it's an intense sexual scene.
So Rob Stark is fucking Elton John.
How intense?
Probably.
Holy shit.
I mean,
Where are you
honestly,
gonna get that from?
Like again, like the fact that they're being genuine on his sexuality is something I'm. I mean, I just think in general, like they're gonna be really genuine in this film, and I think the fact that Elton, like this is gonna be a real biopic. I mean,
yeah,
again, like
100%.
when again, like the argument with Bohemian Rhapsody, it just wasn't a biopic.
I can honestly say that,
Totally.
when I saw
And obviously, I'm gonna see it when I can, but
It was a Queen whack off.
I'm just
Okay.
honestly, I'm not looking forward to watching it just because I know how disappointing it is for me as like someone that's so into music and so into this artist, and the fact that Rocky Man does look like an accurate portrayal of what actually fucking goes down.
So your problem with Bohemian Rhapsody is that they didn't make it gay enough?
Oh my god.
No, I mean, that's
dude,
kind of what it is.
dude.
No. That's
It's-
exactly what you said,
no.
Albie.
So see, well,
I do think that it's important. I'm sorry, just really quickly. I do think that it's important to be representative of homosexuals, especially especially for those people who had to go through that scenario during those years when homosexuality wasn't as accepted. And the fact that
That
Queen
makes
does
or breaks the movie.
Well,
no.
So it's not that it makes or breaks the movie, but it makes it less genuine, and that kind of goes into making it breaking the movie.
See, and also too, like just to speak to like the director and the writers and the producers, Queen had a big hand in the way this played out, and it's also their fault because they didn't want to show Freddie's true life, and I get that, but it's just not what I wanted.
It's not what you wanted, but you haven't seen the movie though.
I mean, again, but that's why I don't want to watch the film because I know I'm going to be disappointed because I looked into the history. I did reports on this guy.
You know who?
So you care about them, the band itself.
I
Freddie
care about
Mercury.
the band. I care about Freddie.
So
Yeah, of course I do.
You're not gonna watch the movie though.
I mean, whenever I can. I'm not excited to see it because I know how much of a historical letdown that it is. Like how it is for you, Assassin's Creed. Like how you were into the lore.
Totally different.
You're into the.
Yeah,
it's
it is
not.
totally different.
It's
It's
not.
totally
I have to
different.
agree.
It's not for me, dude. Because
Assassin's Creed is not based on reality.
The segment's dead.
Why?
The segment's dead. It's just like we're drifting off. Like
No, we're good.
crazy.
No, we're good.
No, we're good. We're good.
I mean, we are drifting, but still, point is, I rather have the true history of the band be portrayed.
I mean, it's gonna be hard to think that when Rocket Man comes out, that it's not gonna be better than Bohemian Rhapsody. It just is because it's gonna be more genuine, and the fact that it has a great director behind it, just like Bohemian Rhapsody,
Okay, but
is willing to
it
dwell
has a
in-
great director, right?
Okay, yeah.
So that makes it better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
It's-
How do you know exactly that it's going to be portrayed 100% exactly how it happened?
Fucking.
It's not-
How do you know?
No,
Queen,
no.
like-
Hey, I would agree.
Queen
with
had
you.
a movie
It's not gonna be
Molly
based
Crew had a
100%.
movie
Hold on.
on Netflix.
It's not gonna be based 100% on
Have you
accuracy.
seen? Have you seen the Molly Crew
Hold on.
movie?
But I heard
So
it
then
was-
is
Fuck.
Bohemian Rhapsody okay enough to not be portrayed 100%?
Well, I mean, it's
So
not.
if
it's
you're
not
really
just.
expecting
Hold on.
Rocket Man not to be 100%,
It's
no,
not.
hold on.
Okay, go on,
Okay.
go
So you're saying that Bohemian Rhapsody is not 100% accurate. What makes you believe that Rocket Man's
Man.
going to be 100% accurate?
Hold on.
Because there's an intense sex scene between Rob Stark and Elton John.
Or just because Elton John is still alive now, rather than fucking Freddie Mercury being alive now.
well,
That's
well,
not the only reason.
I mean,
come on.
I mean, personally, like,
That's a different point of view.
No,
like, I just think it's where they're letting see here the difference with Freddie Mercury being alive and dead. If we're gonna talk about that, is that Freddie would allowed this to happen. Like they would allowed to see his real life, just like Elton John's very okay. Because first of all, Elton John's very okay with the fact that Ergon Egret, whatever the fuck his name is, I
Yeah,
can't even
of
fucking
course,
say,
yeah.
is okay that he's portraying him because he's actually portraying the true Elton John. That's the problem. Like the fact that Freddie Mercury obviously couldn't have a voice in this film. And to actually display him,
his whole life.
Exactly, and obviously Queen spoke for him, which sucks. I mean, but that's what she could do. And again, at the end of the day, I'm gonna watch the film at some point. I will tell you my feelings on it, and at the end of the day, it may not change how I feel. But I am more than anything,
You're
I'm
already
looking.
pretty much 100% against it. So like,
I
even
mean-
if you watch it, I don't think it's gonna sway
I mean,
your decision.
you still don't know that though. You still don't know that. So let me watch the film whenever I feel like watching the film.
Whenever you feel like watching. 10 years
Again,
from
whenever I feel like watching it, and I will tell you. And point is, out of this whole this wasn't even supposed to be a debate. I'm just looking forward to Rocket Man, and that's it.
So I was just gonna say one.
No. We're done. We're done.
Let him just say
No.
Yeah.
I was gonna say one last thing. I mean, you're saying about the whole, gay representation. It's not just the gay representation. It's the fact that Taron Egerton is willing to sing the songs and willing to learn how to sing the songs, while Rami Malek, unfortunately, was not willing to learn how to sing the songs.
So wait, no, hold on. First of all, his voice is still in there, and the fact that maybe he just wasn't as talented as he could have been, and that's why he needed the help from Queen. So first of all, like that's not entirely true, and two, like I'm not judging Rami Malek as an actor. I just don't think the biopic was real enough for him to win an Oscar. And again, this is just going off topic. We're just talking about what film we're gonna watch. Like in all reality, like we could argue this later. Straight up, I'm gonna watch it next week, and I will let you know.
After we watch Rocket Man, we'll come back to this. Albie,
courtesy.
what were you excited about, Albie?
Oh, what movie in May am I excited about? I'm excited about what no nonsense movie, The Shoe. No, it's like no.
God, that was beautiful. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm thinking about it.
That was
Because there's Detective Pikachu, John Wick, Aladdin, and Godzilla.
Aladdin-
Okay, so I
Aladdin, we have to drink.
so I will say that
I'm
one of
super
the
excited for A Dog's Journey.
Dennis Quaid again, bro.
so I would say one of my first choices would be John Wick 3, but since we talk a lot about action movies, I'm gonna kind of shift a little bit. I think one of my most anticipated movies is Godzilla King of Monsters, only because from what I've heard from not only Reddit, which for you guys to know, Reddit, like a lot of people in Reddit, like sometimes they're like people who've worked on the film and they talk about it because they've seen bits and pieces of it. And from what I've heard from Reddit on Godzilla King of Monsters is that it's a surprisingly poignant film about monsters, and that they feel that it was as emotionally resonant as Avengers, which I don't completely agree with because Avengers has a 22 film saga that makes it poignant. But the fact that it can be as emotional means that it's probably coming in line with the trailers, which I feel were amazing. And that's definitely one of the films I'm most excited for, especially because it provides the concept of what would you do if something that you cannot control, something you could not defeat, is going to come in and just change pretty much the way you live, you know? That's what I'm most excited for. It's Godzilla King of Monsters.
That is what it's called. A wife.
A what?
A wife.
I'm confused. But it might be because I'm drunk.
You're not wrong.
Juan speaks from experience.
Hey,
Carlos,
I'm not married, but I mean, I know what that meant. You all know what that meant, right?
You're the expert. No, it's like,
I triggered both of them.
Nah, I'm playing.
Both
I'm playing. You guys can talk about whatever you can.
I think just to finish up your topic, my only complaint about that whole Godzilla movie is Millie Bobby Brown. I think she's a great actress, but you see her like holding her ears. I don't know what's going on in the trailer.
It's fucking 11 all over again.
Dude, exactly,
Dude,
dude.
it's
All
I will
see is
give you
Stranger
that.
Things
I will
printed
give
on
you
my-
that. It's not just 11 all over again. All the actors that are in the movie, it's their movie all over again. Like if you look at the girl who comes out in Shape of Water, she comes out in that movie, and it's just like, you know, she's gonna have some sort of romantic connection to the monster. She's gonna have some insight that everyone else is not gonna have.
When I saw the trailer of Millie Bobby Brown like holding her ears and just like rocking back and forth, I'm just like, dude, this is fucking Stranger Things, dude. Like,
Unfortunately, you see, when you see that, welcome to Hollywood, man. I mean, that's what they do. They see like, hey, I loved you in that movie. I want that in my movie.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. I mean, that's fair. But I guess enough
Yeah,
of
you go on.
Godzilla. I mean, this one's pretty obvious for me, but I mean, in May, a movie I'm excited about is just Detective Pikachu, man. So like, I mean, no,
I agree.
no, you can ask any of like, I guess my family. But but I've been a fan of Pokemon since like as far as I can remember, dude. Like, so like the biggest, I guess the best memory I have of Pokemon is me and my brother, right? We were at I think it was Walmart, right? And we were young, dude. My dad bought us like 3 packs of the
Pokemon cards?
the Pokemon cards, right? So like we're young, dude. I'm probably like 5. My brother's like 7 or something. And we buy, these Pokemon cards. And my brother opens up his first packet. And it's crazy because it correlates with, like, our favorite Pokemon. So my brother opens his first packet and he gets fucking Charizard, dude.
Charizard.
Dude, he gets fucking Charizard, right? So then my dad... And dude, I mean, this is a true story, dude. Like, so, like, my dad's like, okay, open your packet. I open my packet and I get fucking Blastoise, dude. Like holographic
like
shiny
a fucking,
cards.
YouTube video, like,
Dude, dude. I mean, it's crazy. Like if my dad tells this story, he'll tell you the exact same thing. Like me and my brother, like, so we walked in that day, just buying packs of cards. We walked out with 2 of probably like the best cards we've ever had. What happened to them now? I mean, we have no idea. But anyways, like
I still have mine.
Pokemon has always been like yeah, like in my family, like we used to collect. I don't know if any of y'all listening have ever collected the Burger King, the golden plates where it has like different Pokemon on it. Yeah, okay. Dude,
I lost the ball.
I lost every single one of them, but it's a memory where I'm just like, dude, like, man, it was like Togepi, it was fucking like Pichu, I think, and like I don't remember the other ones, but I mean, Pokemon has always played a huge role in my life. Even now, man, I have like the latest Pokemon game, which is like Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. Like me at 24 years old, I'm still playing fucking Pokemon, right? And what's cool about this movie is that you've never seen it as a
I still
live
buy cards.
action film. You've never seen it as a live action film, right? You've seen it in, Pokemon 2000, Pokemon, I think it was 3000 with Entei, right? And then, like, there's a Pokemon movie.
I think it's Pokemon the movie, Pokemon 2000, and then Pokemon the third movie.
Yeah. I mean, there's one where it has, like, Latios and Latias, and then it has
I
fucking...
think that's Pokemon 4 or 5.
Yeah, but what is a fucking...
Lugia?
Lugia and
Pokemon
Pogo.
2000.
Yeah, dude, and, like, in that movie you see, like, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, and, dude, I mean, like... As far as I can remember, Pokemon has always been, a part of my life. So finally, after years and years and years of waiting, like,
Yeah.
we're gonna see it in a live action film, right?
Yeah.
So like, at this point, like, I don't give a shit if the storyline sucks. Like, I'm just super excited to see this as like a live action film, right? to see, Pokemon from the Kanto region, and it's a Kanto, it's the Shinu, there's so many fucking regions.
Yeah,
right?
there is.
But basically to see like all these Pokemons I grew up with, like
To be on screen.
on the big screen, right?
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is playing Pikachu,
Which is
which is great.
great.
Which is great, right? But it's not what you expected from a Pokemon live action film, right?
Because he knows the comedy aspect of it. Like, he knows what it takes to make it funny but acceptable.
No, yeah, for sure. And just seeing, Pikachu is not just a little animated figure, but as a fucking live action little furry rabbit, fucking whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's
Better
great,
than
dude.
Sonic.
And then like
no shit. No
every
shit.
trailer, it's bringing more and more of these Pokemons to life, right? So it's bringing Mr. Mime. There's Jigglypuff. I saw Bulbasaur. I saw
Charizard.
Greninja, Charizard,
And Mewtwo.
Mewtwo is a big part of it.
There's this panda Pokemon I can't think of it right now, but there's a panda Pokemon that comes out too.
That's when I stopped watching.
Psyduck.
I'm like at
No.
like the third generation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been a fan since day one, and I've followed everywhere from Pokemon Red and Yellow and Blue all the way up
Gold
until
and
like
Silver.
Pokemon X and Y and Sun and Moon and all that. Like, I've played them all, dude. So like, yeah. Currently 2:44 in the morning. Wrap this up real quick because I'm not the last one to go. But Detective Pikachu is probably the movie of the summer for me, because I grew up waiting for a movie like this, and I just really, I hope it doesn't let me down. But overall, I don't think I'll
Be let down.
hate the movie. Because
It's about time.
it's a live action Pokemon film, and whether
fucking
it
time.
follows Ash or Misty or Brock or any of those motherfuckers, like, I'm just excited to see some legit ass fucking Pokemon on the big screen.
All I have to say to that is two things. Is one, if you told me 10 years ago that there was going to be a live action Pokemon movie that looked decent, I would be like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? But two, the moment I saw Mewtwo in that movie, I was sold, dude. Like, I was sold with Pikachu, but with Mewtwo, I was like, I need to see this movie.
Yeah, dude. I'm so excited about this film. Like, you don't understand. This is like my childhood, like, coming together, dude.
Yeah, what's really cool.
With, like, Pokemon is like also like with DBZ, like.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
And I think what's cool is like the fact that the kid doesn't like Pokemon.
Yeah.
And-
It's
and-
like his dad was like a detective, right? Pikachu was his partner.
And it's a super dynamic situation, I feel. But it's going to be cool to watch how it plays out.
It's like Ash and Pikachu,
No, and I agree.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but playing it out in different ways.
Yeah.
You see Kanto region Pokemons, man. You see like the three starters, which is Bulbasaur, Squirtle. You don't see. I don't know if you see Charmander, but you definitely see Charizard.
He
does?
comes out.
He does?
Charmander comes out. Yeah, he does.
The fact that you get to see the Pokemon you grew up with,
The evolution.
you know,
and all that,
it just, there's so many Pokemon, and to be able to see them in one movie,
Yeah.
right? Because it's all the way from like, the beginning of Pokemon to the most recent, which is probably Sun and Moon. Like, they're all there.
Someone knows.
But if y'all can see through the video, I'll be super fucked up. So we're about to wrap this shit up.
Okay, John, your turn.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, what do you want me to say?
Choose your favorite film that's coming up in May.
Yeah, bro.
I mean,
What's
you
your
got
favorite film coming up in May?
There's plenty of film coming up in May.
Detective Pikachu.
Boom, there you go.
Cool. Detective Pikachu is the.
It's a wrap.
It's not 3, 2, 1.
I mean, apparently, like.
I don't know.
I mean, you got Godzilla, you got Maw, Rocket Man.
You got Brightburn, John Wick.
Aladdin.
I didn't talk about Brightburn.
Oh, let's talk about Aladdin. Topic drop. That's
Shut
it.
the fuck up. I'm done.
Okay. I mean, before we wrap this up, if you don't have anything, Brightburn is also another one I'm actually super excited about. It's like a, an evil take on, Superman. He comes down from, Krypton.
When
And
did Brightburn come out? Like when?
Okay,
It's coming out
so this is James Gunn's
This
first
is like
horror
the first
film.
movie.
James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
So
this is Brightburn. Like
yeah, it's basically like he said, basically Superman being interpreted as evil, which
Okay.
honestly he probably always was.
yeah,
In
I
some
think so.
sense,
I think so.
and
To a certain
and I think
extent,
it looks really awesome on how they're portraying the visual effects, and the acting in it too looks crazy. I mean, it's gonna be badass. Personally, that's like my top 4 because right now it's basically Rocket Man, Godzilla, Detective Pikachu, and then Brightburn.
Yeah, so I think Brightburn, as a DC fan over Marvel, I'm gonna get shit about that, but
I like DC.
I love DC.
I like DC.
They gotta make better movies, but yeah, I like DC.
I definitely think
better
this is a
production.
darker take
Yeah.
on,
Superman.
Superman, the guy we all know and love, the hero and all that. But this is hero, right? Portrayed as a villain, as somebody who, doesn't save the world but causes it harm and just fuck shit up.
Yeah, because I mean, everything in life, I mean, whatever is thrown at you, you take 2 paths. You're gonna accept it positively. You're gonna accept it negatively. And this Superman character accepts it negatively, which makes him incredibly terrifying. Which makes it such a great horror film because, in a way, sometimes horror films are not terrifying because the monster isn't that scary. But the fact that this monster can do anything he wants, whenever he wants, because he's pissed off, I gotta see it.
I mean,
It's gonna be good.
There's a scene where he brings down an entire fucking plane. So just how Abby says, just the take that we're all used to, right? Superman being a hero and just completely twisting that, and him being the evil, and just something that fucks up Earth. Like, dude, like I think Brightburn is like on the road to be like a great fucking movie. But I mean,
No, I agree. I mean, James Gunn, it's going to be great. I mean, there's a lot of good film as we go through the year, and I think we're going to have way more conversations as we go. But I think at this point, I think we said everything we needed to say for this episode.
I think Albie's pretty fucked. So.
I mean, I'll deal with that later, but
He's a lady like a titty.
but thank you so much for all our listeners, and I hope you guys really enjoy this. We're going to keep doing this, and
If you don't want to listen, fuck you.
we're going to edit that out.
Yeah, that will be edited out.
But
That's right.
point
I love
is, God, he's fucked up. Point is, thank you again for listening, and we look forward to the next second episode of Beer Break, which will be next Friday.
Really?
Beer break signing out.
I need to make space in my schedule.
All right, Beer Break signing out.
Skadoosh.
Skadoosh, my douche.
Signing out.